Give me my theme music.
Nobody does it better.
And it's okay to do your thing, but just don't do the most. I put my friends in that old Benz and took that to the coast. It ain't no thing to do my thing, it's what I do the best. I fill my mattress, pay my taxes, then I blew the rest. And it's okay to do your thing, but just don't do the least. I quit my boss and cooked that sauce and fed that to the streets. Sliding it like a wet flow, already fried from the get-go. Alligators look like that.
Man, this joint hit, man.
We back, boy. Just turn it back up, Scott. Cut it back up, Scott.
They're like dip can. No rehearse, need no reverb. Hold your lip, don't say 3 words. Quick trip to get that big lick. Prefer if you prefer. Quick ride, no time, I'm in there.
She big hug right now. You a big hug.
No TikTok for that. They know that love don't live there. I can't roll dice on your plan.
Man, it ain't no big 3, it's big 5.
It ain't no big 5. It's just big 5.
Come on inside and get yourself something cool to drink.
And we back. Oh man, love everybody here.
Likewise.
Law Nation with the most expensive beard oil.
Let's go. The Black Leonidas.
You got to be careful with Okoye, man, because he made good points. He started swinging. I got to cover up.
Coming at you.
I got to cover up. Fusty King, first thing he said to me backstage, he said, now, Vach, you know I'm not going to fight with you tonight.
It's false. No.
I don't know.
That's what they pay their money for, huh, Vach?
Pure facts.
I don't know what he think this is. And then you got light-skinned do-rag Sky.
Santa Claus. Oh, do-rag Sky, different.
Big Willie pinch the Grinch for being a holiday villain.
You got light-skinned do-rag Sky. It's gonna make sure everything behind the scenes looks perfect. It's a lot of people that you know that reach out and they be like, man, boy, I would love for my show to look like that. I see it on the Twitter feed all the time. Hey man, we're hiring producers to come do some. You know what I'm saying? I see a lot of big name companies that want to write, hey man, we would love to have somebody to put us in boxes. Oh, don't nobody do it like Will Steele. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the round table. It's 5 E's for a reason. Those E's represent something. If I had an acronym, if I was a good content creator, I would have an acronym for you, but I ain't got one. It's just E's for the 5 of us, okay? Pussy King, Law Nation, Vash Lombardi, Koye Media, Skywalker Steel. I hope everybody here is doing well. I hope everybody in the chat is comfortable. Kick up your feet, grab you a blanket or something. I hope you are snug as a bug in a rug. I want y'all to be comfortable, man, because we're gonna not only bring you some work in a fantastic fashion, because we do that on our own channels individually, but we might fuss. See, Sky, we might fuss, big dog. So we gonna see what the business is when we get here. First of all, everybody good? Y'all cool? Y'all all right?
Great. Good. I'm ready to go.
We ready.
Water. Good.
Got my drinks. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, hey, Law, make sure you got your water, Law, because I saw one of the streams when you ain't had no water, bro.
Oh man,
Law was thirsty.
Hey, I was done that
Law
day.
was done, bro.
Yeah, I got my water now.
All right, man.
Fusty King, let me ask you a question, and this ain't even the first question.
Oh, he about to start some shit already.
Already.
Can't help it.
Which one of these linebackers in this draft can be as good as Joe Thomas?
That was a shot at Okoye.
Look, I ain't gonna do it.
That's a quick jab.
Hey man, y'all ain't appreciate it when he was here, man. Y'all ain't appreciate it.
Shout out to Joe Thomas, man.
Shout out to Joe. I'm sure he's doing great right now.
Sure he's doing great at wherever he's at.
Whatever team he plays.
Hey, look, he can stay there.
That's Wanye cousin.
Yeah. Joe somewhere in the USFX ABCL somewhere.
Tearing it up, boy. Hey, man, this is what we gonna do. So this time of year, you know, we got draft. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, of course, we're gonna touch on some draft things, and you know, we're all in different places as far as you know how many players that we watch. But hey, man, it's all good. We gonna whatever opinion we got, we gonna run it because this all gonna make sense when we tie it together in a bow. We got 5 positions I really want to talk about today. Yeah. O-line, D tackle, wide receiver, running back, linebacker. So by way of talking about those draft positions, we're gonna have to talk about some players that's on the Cowboy roster right now. Okay. We only got 3 premium picks. That's 1, 2, and 3. We ain't got a 4th round. So somebody gonna have to miss out. Not only does somebody have to miss out, but according to Stephen Jones, somebody got to step up. Now, is that Junior Fehoko? Is that Matt Walesko playing center? Is that Brandon Aubrey gonna have to come in and cover somebody on kick return? We don't know what the business is. We don't know which player got to step up, but we're gonna cross that bridge whenever we get there. Okay, but Stephen Jones had a lot to say about it. Will, still, did you have some like production or something that you wanted to run? Or you just wanted to jump right into this?
Oh, if you talking about Steven, you can go right in. Go ahead.
Let's just jump into Stephen Jones here, and we can begin with offensive line because I'm vouching unbiased. Let's just run this offensive line here. So when I've been doing these interviews, I've been talking to Cowboy Craze. I've been talking to certain people that's in the business, in the industry. Okay, I was talking to Duman. I was talking to Duman. Whatever. I was just talking to him, and I would always present the question like this: as of now, if we don't do nothing on the offensive line, we got 3 undrafted free agents starting for you right now. And that terrifies the hell out of me. My chest is thumping. So what we got to do first is we got to figure out what we're going to do with Tyler Smith, because I don't even think they know right now. But we got to figure out what we're going to do with Tyler Smith, and then we have to proceed to build the rest of the offensive line. So just in the interest of keeping this relatively concise, is there anybody that thinks Tyler Smith should be playing left tackle? Oh boy!
Wait. I'm not out on the thought, Vox.
Okay, so that's one of the possible.
Yeah,
okay,
and because I don't hate it. I think Tyler Smith, that left tackle in 2024, in the TJ Bass, unless you take a guard and draft a center early, that's probably your best bet to be a better line in 2024. But moving beyond that might be a different discussion. But I think next year, I think we'll be all right.
The thing for me is, we've seen Smith do it at a high clip. Some of these guys that we may get at 24, we talked about it. It's tough. It's going to be tough sledding. You can do it, but you better coach it up. And I think that you'll have a higher hit rate on an interior guy, like Scott just said, possibly stepping in, even at center. Like, if you can replace the center, and TJ Bass doesn't get you killed, and Tyler Smith is, at tackle, I think it's okay to think about. And it allows you to at least let the best player fall to you. Because, again, you could get a center in the second round. I don't want to go too far, but you can get a center in the second round that could possibly step in day one.
But, Foots, let me ask you this, though. Did Tyler Smith play left tackle at a high clip, or did he play left tackle better than we thought he was gonna play left tackle? That's fair.
I think it's a mixed bag. The San Francisco game was a high clip. There were games that he didn't play well. So, I mean, you're not wrong. Listen, his best position is left guard. I'm not fighting you there. But, hey, Vox, we've seen it, and this is going to be my theme throughout this whole show. If somebody falls to you, that's where it get goofy. That's where it get grimy.
So, in this draft, Foots, and I'm just staying on you because I just feel like an argument coming. I just always want to lead off with the arguments because that's what the people come from. So so if you had an opportunity to draft your favorite left tackle or your favorite center, which one do you draft?
Oh, my favorite left tackle for sure. But Vox, we're not gonna have an opportunity to draft my favorite tackle.
So you can get your favorite center, is what you're saying, Foot. So what you're saying is you can either get center 1 or left tackle 8, is what you're saying, huh, Foot?
Yeah, and like you say, left tackle 8 could be Tyler Guyton. It could be guys with issues.
Well, you ain't got a lot of me. You ain't got a lot of me, because Guyton is like 9. So let me ask you, because I've been asking this to everybody, and Law, we can kick it off with you. We watch film every single week during the season, right? Every single week we watch film, and whether it be the Lions, we watch the 49ers, whatever, the Buffalo Bills, teams that can beat us, teams that are dangerous, right? The one common theme, and me and Will did this a bunch. The one common theme is everybody on those lines, they got one dude that's the scrub. Find the scrub. We always got one guy that we can look at and be like, hey man, there's no way they're winning games with McKivitz. There's no way they're winning games with Osiris Torrance out there. Right. Connor McGovern out there. Look, there's no way that they doing this. Lester Cotton for the Miami Dolphins, but all those offenses pull it off, right? I've never been a fan of this. of the whole, hey man, we can get away with this. I've never been a fan of that for real. But why are we the only team that got to have 5 premium cats across the board? Why can't I keep my all-pro left guard at left guard?
Right.
Draft me a stud at center. You got a Hall of Famer at right guard. You got a possible, but he should be better because he got better towards the end of the season. And Terrence Steele. We got 4 dudes that we relatively would have faith in. Why can't we have an Austin Richards at left tackle? Why we got to take the all-pro? Why you got to take an all-pro off your offensive line?
Right. Hey, it's because of PTSD, man. When we had Jason Garrett, we had to have all good guys or great guys in positions in order to win, because there was no system, there were no scheme. And now that you got Mike McCarthy, he's a grade up above Jason Garrett, but he's archaic to a degree in certain things. So he wasn't allowed to do certain things. He is not the greatest of it as relates to setting up run game and setting up scheme and systems. I will say that his approach to the passing game and using some of the West Coast philosophy and principles been great for us, right? Because before he was calling the plays, when we had Kellen Moore that was out there calling plays, the average yards of separation was very, very much so in the bottom of the league. At least we improved on that last season about system and scheme as it relates to passing. But one of the Achilles heels been with the Cowboys been run game, and especially with Mike McCarthy, we shouldn't expect that that's going to increase. So when you're banging on the table for a phenomenal left tackle to blend in with Tyler Smith, is because we need that, because I don't think that from a scheme or philosophy that Mike McCarthy will be able to dial up great runs for us.
Stephen Jones got his ass on the radio, and I'm gonna start to give Will still a little bit of time to pull up a graphic of Stephen Jones while I hit this button right here.
You ain't gotta do that, bro. Come on, man.
Don't worry about it. Oh,
He already ready.
My fault. Stephen Jones got his ass on the radio, and he gave us the state of the offensive line. Look, we about to let him say this nonsense, and I'm gonna get a Koye's thoughts and reactions on this. Stephen Jones had this to say.
We just think you have to continue to evolve as an offensive line, and certainly you hate to lose a player like Tyron Smith, who's going to, in my opinion, be a Hall of Famer. I think he's going to be wearing a yellow jacket, but at the same time, unfortunately, Tyron's had to miss a lot of games, and at some point you have to make those tough decisions.
Koye, I'm sorry. First of all, I just find it madness, okay, that the healthiest he's been, now all of a sudden he got injury issues, and he gonna open his mouth to say, hey man, he gonna be a Hall of Famer, gold jacket. He was cold than a motherfucker last year. But we had to leave. But anyway, we gonna finish this clip, and Koye, I just want to get your thoughts. Hold on.
Certainly, you hate to you hate to lose Tyler at center in terms of what he had done for us, but at some point there, if
that was the comment that
you got to make a tough decision that we can, have him go to another team, and we can replace him hopefully, and have a center who's better. And we like the young guys that we've brought in here over the years. Not unlike Connor McGovern stepped up after being a backup, for 3 years. He stepped up and played really good at guard, and then got awarded a contract in Buffalo. We have guys like Let's Go and Awesome Richards, and young players that are on the come. TJ Bass played really well for us last year.
Boy, Stephen Jones better keep making money doing this, because if you ever had to sell cars, boy, I wouldn't.
Bro, does that sound like a guy that's confident? Well, hopefully he living by Hope Creed, man. I'm telling you.
Hey,
Matt, let's go at center, baby. Let's go.
Hey, Scott, let me tell you something. Whenever somebody asks you a question, hey, bro, is he gonna be okay? He say,
that's prayer about
So yeah, let me ask you this, man.
Yes,
so what it sounds like Brother Jones just said, right? He said, okay, well, in terms of left tackle, we got some young guys that could possibly play it. Right. In terms of center, we're gonna have to go find somebody, and hopefully they better than Tyler Biadasz. That's what I heard him say. Koye, did you hear him say that?
I mean, he said it, right? And the thing that we kind of get washed away with every season is, because we all like our new toys, right? I was excited about Austin Richards last year, though. I liked his footwork, I liked his length, I liked his athleticism. So I wouldn't be afraid to see what he can do if we had to go into a season with him at left tackle. And then I didn't hate Hoffman at center. I'm not gonna lie. When he played it. Yeah, right. Didn't hate it. The Arizona game wasn't horrible. So, if we had to go out there, like you said, I would rather go out there with just one missing piece than two, to be honest. But if we had to go out there with those two guys, starting, or if we kicked, like we just talked about earlier, we kicked Tyler Smith to left tackle and brought Bass. And I love what Bass gave us as far as his tenacity and his aggressiveness. So if we did that, I would still say, Steven is not, I know you're going to hate it, but he's not wrong in saying that the guys on this roster do need to step up, because we were excited about these guys just a year ago. You know what I mean? So now that we have all these new toys that are on the table, that, we want because of the draft, we kind of forget that. But I think Austin Richards does show promise, and we don't forget what we did with Steele as an undrafted free agent. I think Steele, minus the injury, was great for us. You know what I mean? Right. So I think if you can develop a guy like him into what he is, why can't you develop Austin Richards?
Fizz, go ahead, Fizz. What do you think about the young players that just have to step up?
I think the name is Austin Richards. You saw the tape in North Carolina. Well, let's go. No hope. So
I wouldn't.
I try to. My heart is to not even really defend the Cowboys, but make sense of what they're saying. And with Steven, he'll if you catch on, he'll tell you some things. Like, it's been a lot of shots at Dan Quinn this offseason. We'll get to that. But when it comes to tackle position, it's Austin Richards, y'all. When it comes to Waletzko, he's not in he can't even play in the league to me. Hoffman, actually Vach and Sky, when we were on, when you talk about it and you say Hoffman blocking Jalen Carter, I just never want to see that. And that's where you say, okay, give me a Van Pran, somebody who practiced against Carter. Give me somebody even in the second round who is more built like a refrigerator. Hoffman, light, you can see it when he's working out. He little, bro.
Yeah.
And so that's the same deal with like how we just dealt with Tyler. So to me, awesome. Footwork is cool. It's gonna be growing pains now. Sure. So, but it would be awesome for me, like you said, Vach. And real quick, he did develop David Bakhtiari, who was a late round pick and ended up being almost damn near a Hall of Famer. He'll probably be a Hall of Famer. And Mike has done that before, so they may have plans for Austin that we just don't know about.
Will Steele, my only reservation about Austin Richards is that he was active last year when Tyron, was, hurt or whatever, but he was active, some games, right? And we were looking at Chuma Edoga as if he was a guard, and it feels like we were forcing Chuma Edoga to play left tackle, and then Chuma Edoga went out there and played left tackle, and it looked like he didn't know the plays, and that still wasn't enough to get Austin Richards. At some point, you just look at your options and you go, all right, we just got to try the young guy. You know what I'm saying? Because this just ain't working. Scott, how come even with Chuma not knowing the plays and leaving Dak for dead like that, how come Austin Richards never got his opportunity? That's what left. That's my only reservation about Richards. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I hate to throw a wet blanket on the Austin Richards love right now, but he's a big fat TBD because nobody's really talking about this, but they re-signed Chuma Edoga.
Yeah.
Like think about this for a second.
And that ain't a bad move either.
I get it.
Oh, boy.
He was okay. He had
put some of that Kool-Aid up in here, dog.
I got you right here.
You having an unnatural allegiance to losing.
Come on, man. You get every game to be done.
Hey,
it should be done.
Hey, Koye, how long you been unplugged, Koye? Since November?
Hey man, watch the film.
Hey, Box, he been boxing too long. He act like the Miami game ain't happened.
Sparring or is you
he had two bonehead plays that we'll never forget.
Man, you know what, Okoye? You know what? I don't like
the same game.
Okay, look. Bad plays because his body wasn't bad.
Okoye ain't watched that preseason game. He ain't watched nothing since. No. But go ahead, Okoye. We listen to you.
No. I'm not finished.
Go ahead, Scott.
I'm not finished on this because, okay, yes, they brought back Austin Richards. I'm not Austin Richards. Chuma Edoga. Look, Koye might like him, but
I don't like him. I'm just saying it's not horrible to re-sign him. He wasn't asked the whole time he was in the game. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, boy. The reason why I bring it up, to me, Chuma wasn't good. I don't think he's good. I think he could be a low level serviceable backup in the sense of, man, if I need to get to my tackle 3 or my tackle 4, my guard 4. But I bring him up because they brought him back. So what does that say about Awesome Richards? That he couldn't beat out a guy that TJ Bass and Brock Hoffman essentially unseated towards the end of the season. You know what I mean?
I gotta push back on you on that though.
Please.
The reason, not saying you're wrong, because you make a great point. But when you look at Deuce Vaughn, when you look at all of our rookies, Schoonmaker, we had a mismanagement of rookie talent on the entire team. So either they're all ass, or we weren't developing these guys properly. It's one or the other. I mean, I can't believe that.
But Koye, let's not
to a man that we drafted was.
Let's not do what the fans do. Let's not get extreme and say somebody's ass.
Let's not say ass.
Just because they
all couldn't make get on the field for some reason.
But Koye, Deuce Vaughn, 6th round pick, undersized satellite guy. Awesome Richards, 5th round pick. Is he tackle? Is he guard? Right? Junior Fehoko, 4th round pick. Is he defensive tackle? Right? So we're not talking about blue chippers that didn't get on the field. We're talking about day 3 guys that normally day 3 guys don't always get on. We need them to get on the field. But in reality, Schoonmaker shouldn't have been picked in the 2nd round.
Schoonmaker was a wild pick.
So what I'm getting at is like I gotta see Awesome out there at camp battling with a tackle that they may draft with some pressure on him before I'm like, yo, just throw him out there, because they brought back Chuma because maybe they don't trust Awesome just
That's the insurance though. That's why I said that's not a horrible move.
And if Chuma's your insurance, what does that say about your guys? What I'm saying.
I would love Chuma to be the insurance for the guard spot. I think that Chuma got good guard tape. If you look at it, the inverse should have happened. I think that when Tyron Smith went down, they could have slid Tyler Smith back at left tackle and then just plug Chuma right at guard. But I think that they wanted to save face, and they said, look, this dude is progressing and he's doing great things. He's an all-pro at guard right now. So that's why they wanted to keep Tyler there. But if they made a move to keep Terrence Steele at right tackle within a year, I think that they can develop Awesome. I just think that he just need time.
Right.
Remember, Terrence Steele was under the other offensive line coach.
Yeah, Phil been in them. Yeah. But this is what I would say too, Sky. Mike McCarthy don't have the future to develop a guy.
Right.
So
that's the other
he
thing.
got to go in this like, hey,
we'll get into that with this draft. Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, I'll be honest, just to add another nugget, with all of these linemen, it's different if Bill Callahan was coaching them.
Oh, hell yeah. Or if Shanahan was a play caller or the cat over there in Houston or LaFleur. Bro, we're not talking about those type of coaches with these guys. And this is why I don't know where you're going with this, Vach. I'm about getting me some dudes in here because, I think you brought up the question, hey man, why shouldn't we lean on development? Well, because I don't trust them to lean on these kind of 5th round, 6th round undrafted guys to develop in a scheme that isn't great for guys that aren't dudes. Like, we don't have a scheme that can mitigate an Awesome Richards, negatives, right? We don't have a scheme that can mitigate a Brock Hoffman for 17 games. Yeah. We need some damn dudes, bro.
And on a round table, we keep it funky.
Right.
People was at Solari. Like, people weren't happy with Solari. They weren't happy with the blocking scheme. It was, it was stuff where I'm like, these guys are pulling. They don't know their aiming points. It was certain things that
let me add into that.
Sky, you did a great job. My bad, Law, real quick.
No, good.
You did a great job, Sky, when you cut up those runs where it's like everybody was down on Pollard. But I'm like, some of these gap scheme runs and stuff, this stuff don't make sense.
Oh, right. Let me ask Vach this, because I know a lot of people don't touch on this because he's untouchable. How bad of a slow start was it really for Zach Martin?
Hey, I said this on Jeff's tweet. I said, listen, we have not, and he wasn't at camp. I said, listen,
he missed out on all that.
The right guard. It wasn't, and I know he's getting up there in age, but listen,
he got 1 year left.
And we expect him to get back to form because Zach is Zach.
Yeah.
But his grades, and like if you watch on film, it was a lot of blowback. It was a lot of, man.
He was detached a lot more this year than I've ever seen him in the past.
Put it like this: Tyron was the best lineman on the team. Well, Tyron and Tyler were the best 2 linemen.
The Smith brothers.
Thing about Zach Martin though, and I've been saying this about Tyron for a long time. Like, hey, he may not be, that dude anymore, but he is a demigod. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not the full. He ain't Zeus no more. You know what I'm saying? He used to walk around with a turban and a damn scepter, smoking everything. But what we can say about Zach Martin film, and I do think people get a tad bit hyperbolic when they talk about Zach Martin film because it requires context, right? Zach Martin goes from, all right, he ain't lost a rep all game, to, okay, he lost a couple of reps here.
Yeah.
He still blocked DJ Reader that can't nobody else block. You know what I'm saying? He's still blocking Jalen Carter that, you know, he probably lost 1 rep to Jalen Carter that can't nobody else block. And I think that's important because if we look at Tyler Biadasz, we need to use those words for him. We need to use that level of hate for him. Like all the dudes that Tyler Biadasz could not block, those dudes will line up against Zach Martin. They'll line up against Tyler Smith, and they'll, you know, get their lunch ate. It's just that we can't go into a game expecting it to be shutout from Zach Martin. But that's still better than what you will get from Willetsko or Ball or Austin Richards. So I think Zach is fine. Plus, Zach was kind of dealing with some injuries and all that. So Zach's not who he once was, the dude that could just duel with Aaron Donald and we won't hear nothing. The only dudes that can shut down Aaron Donald, we will hear nothing from him, is Zach Martin and Connor Williams. And Aaron Donald's gone now. So I feel comfortable about Zach Martin. He can still whoop Dexter Lawrence. He can still whoop, McNeil when we line up against the Lions and all that, Hargrave when we play against the Niners or whatever. So I don't think Zach Martin is that big of a detriment. Because I tell you what, Zach Martin made his money doing what last year? Sitting back, chilling. Josh Ball played 1 game, and Zach Martin had some brand new financial freedom in damn 4 days. So I don't want to live in a world without Zach Martin. And now we're going, all right, TJ bad. All right, now we got 4 undrafted offensive linemen on our damn line. You see what I'm saying? So no, Zach is fine.
Can I ask you something, Vach?
Por favor.
You start this whole thing with, hey man, we gotta develop these other guys. Yeah. Are you pushing back on your own double dipping at offensive line and in the draft?
No. See. Okay, so let's do this, right? Let me just quickly ask the panel just a quick yes or no. Law Nation, would you be opposed with the 1st and 2nd round pick? I'm trying to trade up with the 2nd because I'm trying to get it over with. Law Nation, would you double down at offensive line? Would you get tackle and center back to back? Yes or no?
It depends on how the board. So you got to add context to it.
So let's say
sliding back. Yeah.
So let's say this.
Getting more picks.
Let's say this. Teams feel some kind of way about Jackson Powers Johnson and his history of injuries or whatever. He's available for you, and he's the best player on your board right now. But you just happen to have taken Jordan Morgan in round 1. Jordan Morgan, left tackle from
he's there.
Zona, right? So, Law, would you take Jordan Morgan and if Jackson Powers Johnson there back to back? Would you take them round 1 and round 2? Yes or no?
If we trade back, because we gained extra picks, and I assume that. Yes, I can't just say yes. No, man.
He know to ask me last because he know what's coming.
Me and Foot's about to fight about this. Law, let's make it difficult. Let's make it difficult, Law. Let's say that there's no trade back. All you got is 1, 2, and 3. You got pick 87, which is your 3rd round pick. You don't pick again till 174. Would you double down on your offensive line?
No, because here's the reason why. I'm Mike McCarthy. I got to win now, and I get it.
That's how you win now, don't it?
That's for the future. That's for the Bill Belichick to come in if I don't get right with this. Because Jordan Morgan, are you 1,000% sure that Jordan Morgan will outperform Austin Richards?
That's the part.
I think he's better than Austin Richards.
Yes, Foots, because Jordan Morgan got a black belt in offensive line right now. He knows every trick to the trade. He got great knee bend. He got great film versus the best edge in the draft, Footsy King. You can agree with that. I'm taking Jordan Morgan, who's better than Austin Richards right now. And if Jordan Morgan does give you struggles, put Schoonmaker to his left, you got Tyler Smith to his right. Why not? Why would you have issues with Jordan Morgan if you don't have issues with Dan Chuma Dogan? Hey, as long as Jordan Morgan know the plays, he good to go. He good to go.
Is it my turn yet? Because I
was gonna say, have y'all found any bad tape on Austin Richards yet? Have y'all found any bad practices on him?
He ain't got no tape, Law, and that's my problem.
He got like 20 snaps, I think he had last year. In preseason.
Brock Hoffman got more tape than Austin Richards, and that's concerning. Go ahead, Foots.
So this what Voch love to do. He's a great lawyer.
He's great. He's great.
He'll get you. He'll get you. He might.
He don't forget nothing either.
Oh, he don't forget it. He's an elephant. So here's the deal. He leaving out so much context because he knows how much I fought him on this receiver class, and I ain't going nowhere. And guess what? I gave you on Sky's show. I gave you the first round. Voch, you're not taking my second round pick from me. You got to draft, homie, because guess what? I just watched Brandon Cook get smushed. We cannot move the ball when they put a safety over top Jake Ferguson and they blanketed CeeDee Lamb. We couldn't move the ball. We just talked about Mike Solari can't develop. So guess what? If Lamb McConkey's staring at me, I'm drafting him. Crazier things have happened. Okay, hold on. I'm talking about second round. If Troy Franklin, and this is, I gave you a lineman in the first round. If
Troy Franklin is not running through Jair Alexander, Fuzz, you ain't got lots of the people. They got
hold on.
Fight. Come on. You gonna run on top of him. Go ahead.
I hate when Voch do this.
They got film 2 foots. They do. But see, Troy, this is what's happening with skinny receivers. And I don't want to draft Xavier Worthy, but he's not soft. He's not John Ross. He's 165 pounds. He ain't running through Jair Alexander either.
But we don't need him to be CD. We need him to be a 2. That's the thing.
Your argument. No, Fuzz. Your argument is Brandon Cooks couldn't run through Jair Alexander. And then you proceed to name 165-pound receiver.
Hold on. I'm gonna give you some other guys. Stop it. Because if Keon Coleman's staring you, Keon Coleman is not 165 pounds. Keon Coleman is 215, 6'4". It's a difference. So now he's gonna catch that slant. He's gonna body Jair Alexander. If he's staring at you, listen, if he's staring at you in the second round, what's happening? One of the first people that I talked to about in this draft, Scott can vouch, is Keon Coleman. We've attached ourselves to separation, and this poor kid is losing money. Well, really, he's a great football player. These teams suck. You can watch these quarterbacks. They sorry. Jordan Travis, sorry. Quentin Ewers, sorry. Jalen Milroe, sorry. So at the end of the day, bro, if you give me a first round lineman, I got to fix my team in other ways, Voch. I can't double down. No way.
Listen, man.
You got to add. You got to disrespect, though. You can't just say that, but you got to put no disrespect to my guy Jair Alexander. You can't just say that. You know, you just
run through him.
This is my only issue with your argument, Fuzz. This is my only issue with your argument. Okay,
because I did get Sky on the stand, and he made a great point. And Sky, don't walk it back about BTJ.
Fuzz, this is my issue with your argument. Fuzz, this is my only issue with your argument. You're trying to replace or improve from, right? Let's say improve from. You're trying to improve Brandon Cooks and Jalen Tolbert. I'm trying to improve Brock Hoffman and fucking Austin Riches. That's the difference. You can play right now. You can look. You had the #1 offense with Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert, and limping Michael Gallup. I don't want to line up against goddamn Jalen Carter and Dexter Lawrence and Javon Hargrave and Aleem McNeil. They just added DJ Reader. We know they can't block DJ Reader because I know we got fan. So they put DJ Reader with Aleem McNeil. I don't want to line up against the Washington Football Wizard kids with fucking and then look, you want Tyler at tackle. So you got to play all those 1 techs and 3 techs with damn Brock Hoffman next to TJ Bass. I can't.
Okay. Let's step away from receiver. Okay, what if your best running back there? Because now we do say we want to run the ball.
Sure.
Now it gets tricky because now you staring at Trey Benson. So you're drafting another interior lineman. You can't develop no lineman. If we want to get more physical,
I'm not trusting Mike Solari. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just gave you a tackle. After the second round, it started to get slim with the pickings. If you want to get Trey Benson in here, now it looks better with Trey Benson and Rico Dowdle and your tackle or your guard. But I Jalen Wright, I don't see him getting to the third round. Voch, if Marshawn Lloyd, you could talk me into him, but I don't see him getting to the third round. There's going to be a run on these backs, I'm telling you. And so now, what are we trading away from, Voch? That's all I'm saying. If you're trading away from an instant impact player, it's tricky. It's very tricky.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let Okoye go. Right? Okay. I have faith I have faith that Dak Prescott can elevate a young wide receiver. I don't have faith that Mike McCarthy or Solari can elevate none of these offensive linemen. That's my point, Fussy Kid. If it's up to me, I can take Dak Prescott make Jalen Brooks look like a starter. He's done it. He can make Jalen Tolbert look like a starter. As long as you got a stud in CeeDee Lamb, it can even the rest out. Can't nobody on this damn coaching staff, none of them have given me any confidence that they can take this offensive line with not 5 studs on it and still run the football and still
my point earlier.
Yeah.
Koya, go ahead, sir. Go ahead, Koya.
I gotta say this, man. Like, well, I agree. The first round, you go after the line.
I love Foots.
Double dip.
Foots.
I love Foots.
We are not at home because we didn't have good receiver play or good offense. We lost players, though, like you said, Vach, on the offensive line. So you do have to replace at least one of them with a stud. I don't think you go double up first 2 rounds with linemen, though, because y'all forgetting one thing, man. We are not at home. We were not at home because of offense solely. It was our defense that took us home.
Yeah.
So to ignore that as an organization would be boneheaded to me.
Malpractice.
They're going to have to address the reason we went home in the first place, which is defense, namely linebacker, and I don't think Kendricks is an answer. So they're going to have to go linebacker in the first 2 rounds. I don't think they're going to ignore that. They do have to go offensive line in the first 2 rounds as well. So I think that's what you're going to see in the first 2 rounds. But you got to keep in mind, there's also something that they don't do. You don't let a Tyron Smith and a Biadasz go in the same offseason if you don't know what you have as a commodity in that locker room. Like we don't know, but there's a reason that they didn't jump out the window to sign at least one of those guys, right? So it's not you have a point. We don't have the film of Awesome, Hoffman, lighting the ass, whatever you want to say.
Right.
The dude Graham Barton out of Duke, right? You grab him, put him at center, and you put Awesome at left tackle. I'm happy with that. You know what I'm saying?
Boss, we can agree there, right?
You agree there.
And if you want to kick,
Voss look mad. Voss look mad.
But if you want to kick Tyler Smith to left tackle, Graham Barton can play guard too. He has a 5-position flex guy. So you get him, you get a guy that can move around. Then you go in the late rounds like they usually do, and go find you a guy that has, just a tilted skill set in one particular area on the line and develop that.
Can I push?
You watching no film, boy? You know you watching film. Go ahead.
I want to push back on one point you made. I want to push back on one. And Sky made it. He texted this to me when we signed Eric Kendricks. Bro, Kendrick's better than any linebacker you had last year.
That's very true, and you're going to get Overshawn back too, bro.
Exactly. So
you can't act like that. Defense is why we home.
I'm agreeing. Listen, I'm about it. So that's what I was saying to Vach. He know what he doing. He's using this against us because he's saying he don't know who's on the board. But if it's some jokers on the board, listen. I wouldn't touch Peyton Wilson, but there's people who love Peyton Wilson. If he's staring at you, it's a conversation.
I would take him. But there's one more thing I want to address too, Vach. When you talk about Scolari and Mike McCarthy not being able to develop offensive line talent, or there's no coach that could, I can't argue with you, right? But there's one person who is the litmus test on how well this offensive line is going to play, and that's Dak Prescott's ability to slide protection, to recognize what's going on. As long as we get guys early who understand what's going on, like Chuma's here, guys that understand what's going on and they're not missing calls, I think Dak is that litmus test. Just like Peyton Manning used to have guys go down all the time. And I know everybody hate that comparison when I compared Dak to Peyton Manning, but Peyton Manning had offensive linemen go down all the time. So did Tom Brady. But you didn't notice it as much because they knew how to mitigate that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think Dak is the insurance for this offensive line. And I think they know more than we know when it comes to letting both those guys go. They didn't do it just haphazardly. I
heard something this week to Okoye's point. That's a great point. I heard something. The Colts, they said they hit on O linemen so well when they had Peyton Manning because he gets the ball out so quick. So it was, and Dak is the same way. Dak wants the ball out, quick release. He's great pre-snap. And Vach, you know this. I'm not fighting you saying we don't need O-line help. All seriousness, I'm with you 100%. Right. But Vach, who is there in the second round? Because if you got one of them, if you got a goon, like we always say, Vach, we need some thugs. We didn't have enough thugs on that defense.
Give me some names, though. Give me some names. Give me some names. Give me the thugs in the second round.
I think a healthy Peyton Wilson is a thug. Not in Mike. Let him run to the ball. I don't
He
want
will
him
never
to
be healthy though, Foots. He will never be healthy.
So then, me and Scott talked about it. You don't like Junior Colson, but he's a thug. He not going. One thing you're not going to see is
you don't like
guard
Colson
mushing him. You're not going to see him getting mushed all the way. Now he's not perfect, but you're not going to see him getting walked into the end zone. I can promise you that. Those guys, Harbaugh and Michigan, and Mentor and that defense is Mike McDonald. Those guys play football a certain way. So it's a few thugs in this. I'm gonna tell you somebody else who we really don't talk about. It's a kid named Darius Masau. Okay, he's a later round pick.
Very instinctual kid.
UCLA, yeah.
But he gonna fail.
I know. I like him a lot. Yeah.
Hey, Box, let me ask you this: you and Sky do a lot of film.
Yes, sir.
Did you see anybody get hit last year? Like, I'm not talking about. That's why I always tweet the overshown tackle. It wasn't, and that's why we wanted old boy that came out from Alabama. Did we see anybody get hit? I'm not talking about a tackle. I'm talking about somebody get hit.
Donovan Wilson got a few, but like besides him, like not really. From the linebackers, not from the linebackers. No.
So yeah, you're right, Okoye, about a linebacker.
Yeah, we need him. But the flex that you have, like I said, with Graham and then also Brandon Coleman, both of them. If you get either one of them in the first or second round, I think you good, and then you can go ahead and I can live with one guy on the line, not like being that weak link, just not two. So they got to get one offensive lineman. I don't think we go two, but just to answer.
And you know how you can get one offensive lineman and not have to worry about the other is if you move Ty to the left tackle. Then you're only worried about one position. I'm not saying that's what you should do, but what I'm saying is for 2024, if you want to say, hey, I just want to have one need up front, then Tyler at left tackle, Bass at right guard, get you your center, Zach Martin, Terrence Steele for 2024. I'm just saying, if you only want to, if you don't want to double dip, if you want to double dip, then you keep Tyler at left guard. That's just facts.
We still might even double dip at running back. So it's just so many areas that we can double dip in, man.
Let me address something that Koye said about. Obviously Dak obviously helps out in regards to the offensive line from a pass game standpoint. You ain't losing in these playoffs because of the pass game. Yeah. Obviously we talked about the defense. That's part of it. But we got to really have to address this run game in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The last 5 or 6 playoff games, Zeke averaged under 3 yards per carry, like 2.3 yards per carry. Tony Pollard only had one solid game. That was against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In the playoffs against the Green Bay Packers, they obviously had to abandon it pretty quickly, but they don't take the running game serious enough in the playoffs. And that's why I keep saying, look, yes, we can get these wide receivers and all this, and that's fine and dandy. But if you can't run the ball in the playoffs, and we can't do it from a schematic standpoint, that you need to get some ass whoop up front so that we can lean on it a little bit. So I don't think double dipping is the worst thing in the world when you think about the playoffs. If you're thinking about for 2024, if you're thinking beyond that, Foots, we talked about it. You don't have a wide receiver 2 of the future. You know what I'm saying? Right. You potentially could be looking at another defensive end. Linebacker, what Vach will probably get to in a second. Once Bruh leaves, Kendricks will need another line. There's just basically what we're saying. There's so many things the Cowboys need right now. You can't address them with 3 picks.
Because they use the draft as their free agency. So that's what they're doing. They are using this draft as that. Yeah.
I see this team getting picks.
7 picks.
They want to.
I see them trading back.
Fusty King, when he was fussing at us about linebacker and Junior Colson and all that, he made sense. I'm never gonna hate on Fusty King. He made a little bit of sense. But the whole idea of our offensive line or our linebackers getting pushed into the end zone. Well, one, because our linebackers was 100 pounds, but our defensive tackles.
Just thinking about it make me laugh. Go ahead, man.
Please don't get me started. I'll get back on the soapbox, bro.
Our D line wasn't they wasn't holding us down for the Doski Woski, man. And I think D line is a humongous emergency. Jonathan Hankins was the anchor of your D line last year, and Stephen Jones all like, hey man, we lost some shit. Mozzie straight. Mozzie's sitting down rehabbing right now. He'll be ready for camp. He ain't even lifting weights. He ain't even lifting weights because his shoulder hurting. But boy, we just gonna see what the business is when we get here. Fellas, I mean, and look, I sound nervous when I say but Mozzie Smith is your starting one tech right now. I know the answer. Y'all stop laughing. Y'all some bullies. Y'all stop.
Hey, one of them boys. I can't wait to listen back to this guy.
So, man, like I was saying, dog.
Come on, dog.
Man.
Come on now, dog.
Hey, real quick before you go, Voch. Vegas still has us as a 10-win team. It's incredible.
I mean, we're gonna win 10 games. We got 4 games.
If 4 is healthy, that's gonna happen.
Yeah,
and that obviously, like you said, Scott, that's not the goal. My bad.
They're gonna run the football. Okay, but man, Stephen Jones, he was acting like Mozzie just gonna be the key, and like he saw something last year that we ain't see. He had the gall to say that, hey man, shit, we're gonna be cool with Junior Fehoko and Mozzie Smith. So let me ask y'all something. I know we got these 3 premium picks, and I'm hearing Footsie King say, what if a dog is there at linebacker, and what if a running back is there that you want? I feel like we all think we have to spend a pick on the offensive line. Foots want to lobby for a wide receiver, and that's cool, man. But are we really not going to give any defensive tackle help until the back part of day 3? Because we ain't got a 4th, the back end of day 3. So I'll start with start with Okoye, man. Is Mozzie enough to be the starting and the backup one tech for this Dallas Cowboys football team? And is Zimmer's teaching enough to put Mozzie over the edge? One more bit of context, Okoye, before we move on. Stephen Jones got on the radio and capped his ass off, and he was like, "Hey man, shit, Dan Quinn drafted him." And Dan Quinn was asking Mozzie to do things that probably don't even fit this defense for real.
Right.
But I'm assuming, Stephen Jones said it, but I'm thinking that Zimmer's defense is a little more on par with what Mozzie's good at. So, Okoye, is that cap from Stephen Jones? And is Mozzie good enough to be our starting one tech, and maybe we should just draft depth around him, or are we shit out of luck?
As I said earlier, right? If it was Mozzie, Schoonmaker, Deuce, or any of those guys alone that didn't pan out, then I would probably have more heat on them like you guys do, right? Mm-hmm. When none of them do, I think it's a mismanagement of talent. And then when you look at what we were asking him to do and his weight, you don't look at if I'm looking at a guy, it doesn't matter who you guys draft, right? And who you guys look at in the draft. You don't look at a guy's tape, right? And then bring him to the team to do none of the shit that you saw on tape. That don't make sense. That doesn't make any sense. Right. So that's what we did with Mozzie. We saw a guy on tape who lined up square, who can, soak up blocks, not an upfield guy, and had a slow get off. And then we said, let's get your get off up, change your stance, and lose 40 pounds, something like that. Right. You know what I'm saying? And try to make Mozzie a guy that's an upfield pass rushing type of guy. That is, to me, if you look at that and say Mozzie wasn't good, if Mozzie wasn't good doing what Mozzie does, right, then Mozzie's not good. I haven't seen anybody ask Mozzie to do what Mozzie was doing in Michigan at all. Maybe Zimmer will do that because he likes that style of play. Yeah. So Dan Quinn, to me, is not even a throw under the bus. Dan Quinn, in my opinion, I like Dan Quinn, but he didn't even do this, before he got here. He didn't come out with small linebackers before he got here. He had Olokun and Deion Jones before he got here. He comes here, he wants to play safeties at linebacker. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. His interior linemen. He always had linemen from Seattle to all the way to Atlanta. He comes here, he starts playing musical chairs with his defensive linemen, his interior linemen too. So the way Dan Quinn coached last season, to me, is the reason we were at home. And the way he coached Mozzie, not just Mozzie, but Chauncey as well. Right. I think he mismanaged the talent that we had on this team. No team, we could talk about how we look at Mozzie. You could say he's a C-grade player if you want, whatever, right? But we could talk about this entire off defense and say, how many teams had 2 full sets of starting defensive lines? We had it. Not too many teams have that.
Only a handful.
You don't have a Sam Williams or a Fowler.
Right.
Guys that are 10-sack guys if you let them play.
Correct.
And then say, let's line up LV at defensive end.
Come on with it, man.
Outside linebacker on the point and have him pass rush for real. Let's have Clark
Marquise
Let's have Damone Clark at defensive end, who don't even know where the hell he is in the first place.
Right.
When you have 2 first-round talent, because Sam Williams is a first-round talent defensive end. You have 2 of them on your bench.
Right.
And don't understand how to use that. Hey, let's bring in Rashaan Evans and do jack shit with him. So that type of stuff that you do, you can say, hey, Rashaan Evans wasn't good. Everybody says that when I bring his name up, right?
Yeah, but he is coached up by Darian Thompson and Scott McCurley.
Clark.
Yeah.
He was better than Damone Clark, and he's damn sure better than Marquise Bell at linebacker.
True.
So,
at backer, yeah.
To do that, to me, I can't look at the players when your scheme had gaping holes in it. So Mazi, to your question, Mazi is good enough, in my opinion, to start, and he will anyway, even if he's not, because he's a first-round pick. He's going to play at the nose, right? You do need to go give him some insurance. We're not doing it in free agency, obviously, so they're going to have to draft somebody at some point in the second half of the draft. I don't think they go high in the first half, unless Zimmer has more influence than we know. But knowing Zimmer, when you look at his old teams and the size that he has at defensive end, he's going to move Chauncey back to defensive end probably. And he might even use some Osa at defensive end. So this defensive line may be shuffled around in a way that we don't expect. So maybe he does go with another interior lineman
shuffle with,
but those guys.
Let me echo what you said, Okoye. And I'm gonna use a reference of what Boss Cowboy said on the show. He says when individual players play bad, that's the player. But when units play bad, that's the coaches. So when you look at the tree is known by the fruits it bears, you can look at from what Dan Quinn brought to the table, who have he ever developed? And Aiden Durde, who have he ever developed on that front? So there's not really a long resume of guys that they develop. But when you look up Mike Zim and you look at his resume, he's going to get these guys going. Let me hear Mike Zim one more time.
Get your out there, contain the damn ball.
I can listen to this all day.
Your bitch ass. Yeah. So he's gonna be getting these guys together in their mindset. So hopefully Mazi can turn the corner, and then they're gonna have to pair him up. If they can't,
hey, Locke, can you play that again?
Oh yeah, I got you right here. Yeah. Contain the damn ball. Yeah, this is what it makes me get drunk over here.
That's my guy right there.
Damn soft. I just hate mistakes. I hate mistakes.
Keep it going, Law.
That's exactly what he gonna say. So all of that, man. Hey, if we can't get it out of this draft, then after the draft, of course, there's going to be a waiver team to release some of those big boys, and there will be the trade acquisition part of it. So I think that Mike Zim at least got to get some toys with this. It's not just going to be Mazi. He got to get his toys in this draft.
I'll pile on this Dan Quinn thing. I brought this up earlier this morning, and this is what I was talking about behind the scenes of Okoye that I wanted to talk about. You touched on it. He does not develop these type of players, the Mazi types. He lied to us. He basically we were come on. And let me tell you how. When we drafted Bohanna in 2021, he went to that podium and he said, Bohanna's going to be right here. Sometimes he's going to be right here. And what happened in the second year, we were at camp and we saw him doing 3-tech things. We saw him getting upfield, trying to rush the passer. And then the next year when he didn't do it, good enough, they cut him. Same season, right? We draft Big Country, John Ridgeway, 1-tech. They got rid of him in 3 games, right? The next year, you draft Mazi Smith, and they tell us, yeah, man, he's here to help us with the run. But then Will McClay, and you hear Dan Quinn saying, yeah, but we like what he can do as a passer, too. So we're trying to rush him as a pass rusher. And now, guess what? He's not doing the things he was doing at Michigan. So he's never really developed this type. You know what type he did develop? Grady Jarrett. You know what the type of Grady Jarrett is? Yeah. Osa Odighizuwa, guys that get upfield. They want to rush the passer. And that's what Dan Quinn was preaching for 3 years. Hey, man, we're going to get after the passer. Mike was saying, you got to earn the right to rush the passer. Dan Quinn was doing the exact opposite. I know he went out and got Hankins. I know they drafted Mazi. They drafted Bo. They drafted Big Country. But they didn't develop those guys. Those 1-techs need development, and they need structure. Zimmer has the structure. Zimmer,
you don't let you go ahead.
Zimmer, I promise you this. Zimmer would have had Bo, would have had Country, at least very serviceable rotational guys, 100%.
So we'll still.
Hey, I got one thing, but I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah,
I got you. We'll still riff at. So on that point, and really for everybody, right? So we don't have enough bodies, of course, but do you feel like what we have right now, just as a core, whether it be Osa, Mozzie, Junior Fehoko, the handful of ends that we got, and whatever it is that Micah's doing, right? Do we have enough right now with Zimmer, leading the charge or whatever? Is that enough? Or like, how much more help do we do we have to add to this thing?
We need help. I think we need help. I don't think I'm not counting. What's the cat from the Patriots that came over? Carl Davis. I'm not counting that guy, man. Carl Davis don't exist in my world. You know what I'm saying? You essentially got two defensive. Let's be real. You got two defensive tackles, but you got one that fits the Zimmer mold. Like I love Osa, but he don't fit with Zimmer. Zimmer like big boys. And Osa's not a big boy, but he's a good player.
Osa gonna get kicked to the edge.
Look,
he gonna probably get that Bennett role you've been preaching.
Y'all keep bringing up Fehoko. I don't see Fehoko sliding into no damn defensive tackle with Zimmer.
Zimmer like those types of guys outside. Yeah.
Right. So we don't have no depth, and Mozzie might not be ready until middle of the damn training camp. So defensive tackle low key.
It's a gaping hole right.
It's a blinking red light that we ain't talking about enough.
Who your fat boys you can get in this draft in the later rounds, or you got to get them early?
I got some
Mississippi
names.
State
I got
kid.
some names.
Y'all got some fat boys.
Or the Texas A&M.
You can go to Texas A&M kid.
There you go.
Before we get to them, right? And McKinley Jackson is a name to watch. It's a few names that could just sit right in the middle of your defense. I mean, I know you guys have been high on Dwayne Carter. He's like a mix of both, but it's at least throwing bodies. And I don't think like this run on D tackle is gonna go later. Just being honest, out after the first two guys, it'll go later. So, but I want to add on, and we're gonna pile on this thing because I'll be honest with you, I've been hard on Dak. I came on Sky Show that playoff game, Dak threw the picks, and I'm with you. But I asked anybody in this chat, was there ever a point that you thought you would get a stop?
No.
Exactly. And that was a quick no. Like what? Like I never thought at one time we would get so
the first drive.
Honestly, Okoye, I can see what they was doing, and I see LaFleur. Like LaFleur just had that look.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn struggles versus that tree. It is what it is, and so this is why I'm telling people. I saw some tweeted out, and I love the work that people do. Well, hey, teams don't use 3 linebackers. Well, guess what? You got to stay ahead of trends. Yeah. Great teams. Detroit runs the ball. San Francisco runs the ball. Who else?
Ravens
run the ball.
Philly got 2 running backs.
Those last 4 run the ball. Hey, you're gonna have to get some big bodies in here. And I really feel so bad that we wasted a year in Marquise Bell. Now he had some great play, but it was like even in the Carolina game, I'm like, hey man, they kind of moving up and down the field, and he a little body. So my final point is this about I have a lot of faith in Mike Zimmer. I'm gonna tell you why. He reminds me so much of Steve Spagnuolo. It's not even funny. Where he's a better DC. He's a better DC than he is head coach. He's and again, I tell this to the kids and the parents I coach. Bro, I'm not interested in being your friend. I feel like Dan, coming out there with Jordans, he got his hat back. He doing yoga with these guys. Hey, cool. I'm with you. Hey, Zimmer, he more like, hey, bro, you got one more time and your ass out the game. Give me another backer. Come on, bro. And so in that, right, Sky? I don't care. This is football. If you know you got your coach looking down on you and you not fitting right, it's a difference. All this, we buddies and they doing yoga together and he talking about Zen. Bro, I'm like, come on, bro. I'm done with that. Even Micah, guess what? Micah needs to be coached hard. This is not the Dallas Micahs. This is the Dallas Cowboys, not the Dallas Daks. It's not the Dallas any of them.
He's going crazy now. He's going a little crazy right now for us.
I'm just saying.
He right though. Preach foot.
The players are saying it. The word that a lot of defensive players are using, the buzzword, from Michael all the way down to Juan Ye. If you listen to all these interviews, accountability.
Yeah, bro. Like Zimmer not gonna play with these people. And another thing is, Sky, when we watched, and this is my last point about the type of backer we want. Sky, me and you was watching the Super Bowl, bro. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Kansas City linebackers, when Hughes Check tried to climb next level. Wow, you was getting smoked.
They had some crazy depth at back.
If you think it was it wasn't just our guy from Missouri, it was
Tranquil. They had some guy named Tranquil.
Tranquil was nice. Willie Gay.
He tranquilized.
Yeah, they had the deepest linebacker core.
You can't tell me that Spagnuolo in meetings was like, hey, Kyle gonna try a bunch of this cute stuff, trying to get these guards and these, and I want you to. I'm gonna tell you who else was getting smoked in that game. If we being honest, Trent was getting smoked in that game. People don't want to talk about it. Trent Williams was getting.
He got killed. Purnell, whatever his name was.
And that goes back to the point of like you said, dog, give me a DN who's gonna press first. All these guys getting enough field, they're not even getting sacks. Micah's getting all the sacks anyway.
Yes,
right.
That's a scheme issue. That's a coaching and scheme, and that's why I think Zimmer, like you said, he's going to have an effect on this defense that I think will be positive just by him being there. Now it'll come down to the players to take it to the next level, and I don't think. Going back to your point, Vach, I don't think we have enough up front from a defensive line standpoint. We need to add more. And unfortunately, we got 3 premium picks. So you better hit on day 3.
Just a handful of okay, so we're not looking for 3 takes in this draft. Like we're mostly looking for a 1 take that can be behind Miles.
Unless Byron
contract year for Osa. It's a contract year for Osa.
Christian Boyd, though, he a 3 techie guy, but he can stop the run though. So there are some.
I mean, I draft Murphy if he's the Johnny, the Carter, Weezy. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
so your best bet at like these hybrid dudes that could play some 3 and some 1, you're looking for some guys is like right around 308, 310 pounds or so. Right. There's a kid from Clemson, Ruke Oro. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but he is a half and half kind of guy. Pocket pusher, Brandon Dorless, and people have been kind of comparing him to like the David Irvin type of guy that can play some 1 tech for you, play some 3 tech for you, play some defensive end for you. So just by listening to y'all talk or whatever, right? Zimmer, moving some bigger bodies to the outside or whatever, having humongous guys on the inside, but then still having like a pass rushy dude at B gap. I don't think there's a one size fits all for what he's doing. But just in case, like there's like some day 3 guys we may be looking for. Gabe Hall from Baylor. He's a 315 or so pound guy, heavy enough to deal with the doubles, but he can do pass rushy things. Went to Senior Bowl, beat the hell out of everybody. If you want somebody a little heavier, Justin Rogers. 1 tech from Auburn. He's 330 or so, which is in that weight range you want, but don't ask him to pass rush nobody. Everybody's gonna ask you about Sweat, right? But here's my whole thing about Sweat. I think 32 teams are looking for the right time to kind of go in on him, because I do think that teams look at him as not mature enough. He doesn't love football enough, and he fat as shit right now. He like 383, like he weighed in like 380,
390 at one point.
390, and combine where you supposed to be the best shape in your life, he was like 360. I think most teams want you around 330, 340 on the Texas. 330 or 340 on the bigger side. So in real life, T'Vondre Sweat probably will fall for you, but let's just keep it a buck here. If you like, he may be a dude. He may be the best player on the board for you in the 4th round, but you got to think about fit, and you got to think about if Zimmer's going to coach somebody hard. I don't think the I don't like football guy is going to fit there. Or Zimmer may loudly protest and say, hey, I don't want somebody that's soft. I don't want somebody that doesn't love football on my D-line. So they may take Sweat off the board in general. And I'm only saying that because I know there's a lot of Cowboy fans that, they may know a name and they may get latched onto that name. Sweat may not even be a dude that even goes here. Sweat may end up in Cincinnati or like Baltimore somewhere, but I don't think he's going to end up here.
A point on Sweat real quick, Vach. When he left camp and it came back, it was either senior or junior year, he was over like 410, 400 pounds. That's what reported. And they had to work him. He couldn't even practice. They had to work him back into shape. So that's just too big. And that's kind of goes to Philly's D tackle. He just hasn't hit the first one that they drafted because of that, the weight issues. He can't play on certain downs. Now, it's a name you said, Vach, that I want everybody in here to watch this game. It's the Washington game. It's Brandon Dorless. Yeah. He is a name that you guys gave me Dwayne Carter, and you're right on him. But Dorless is interesting because of the position flex, and he's not as big as I don't even think he's sub 300. But bro, he plays. If you watch that Washington game, you really think, man, 1st round pick. Like they couldn't block him, and the consistency hasn't been there. But you talking about a player that plays with hands, he knows how to fit the run. I don't want, and a lot of this is Zim, like you said, Sky, fit. He wants, Quinn wanted guys getting enough field. Man, you watch Dorless, he trying to make tackles at the point of attack. Yeah.
What's your take on Newton? Because not a lot of people talk glowingly of him. What's going on?
So with Johnny Newton, it's interesting. Sky said it. if he's there, you got to have a conversation because now, if you got a guy, I love Johnny Newton, me personally. I do think that Murphy will probably be the first D tackle off the board, but he's super 3 techie. And like, if you can give me Newton who can play the run, I'm not mad at it. But I also do believe, like a guy like Dorless, like, and that's what I said about this D tackle class, right, Law?
Right.
The gap is here and here. That's kind of, I will give Voch this about linemen, right? The gap from Newton and Dorless is like here. The gap from Jordan Morgan and Voch's Houston tackle is like here. So I'll say that.
So Foots, let me ask you a question, and we read it right now. Yep. So Johnny Newton, right? Let me ask you this, Foots the King. It's all about when you get him. Johnny Newton right now from Illinois. He's more of your 3 tech guy, and he's athletic enough to be sort of your edge dude, right? He's all burst. Ball get off. He's 308 or so pounds, but guys like Cansey, guys like Donald, those smaller upfield bursty 3, kind of what Osa is right now. That's what Johnny Newton is, right? But Johnny Newton in all, like I call him Jerzon, that's what damn boy name is, but Jerzon is probably most likely gonna be like a first round or so pick for you. So just hold that information, right? But then you also brought up Brandon Dorless. I got some film on him too. Boom, boom. You also brought up Brandon Dorless, who's more so of a 3 tech, sometimes 1, but mostly 3 tech.
I just love his hands, bro. Look at that. Look at that rep, bro. His hands are
great hands. But this is him on the edge here. This him at 3. So Foots, let me ask you this. Foots. This is just me and you saying this right now, Foots. You got Johnny Newton, who's a first round pick that can play sometimes 1 and mostly 3 tech, or do you go Brandon Dorless, maybe a 2nd round pick, 3rd round pick, but he's mostly a 3 tech and sometimes an edge? Which one for you, Foots?
Oh, it would be Dorless. It would be Dorless. Yeah. I mean, I think Dorless is. I think the only thing that really Newton had. Look at how he's pressing that. Look at that. I mean, that's the hand fighting is amazing with Dorless. That's why I said, like, bro, you're gonna be hard pressed because I think he'll be there in the 3rd round, Voch, only because the skill positions in the linemen are the offensive linemen are it's so deep, and guys are gonna end in the running backs.
Foots, so I got what you're saying with that, though. Foots, what you're saying ultimately is that you can get your tackle or center in that first, but you can't get none of those in the 3rd. But you can get some shape, form, or fashion a Newton similar in the 3rd, or maybe in the
dollar store.
You don't have a 4th though, but somewhere down in that area. So yeah, I see what you're saying.
But who are your 1 techs though? That's what I'm saying. Like we, I feel like they can be closer to manufacturing like somebody to come play B gap. You can work D-Law and B gap. Chauncey is gonna play end. We hope he can navigate some B gap, but you don't have, like, besides Mozzie, whose shoulder hurt right now. We don't have no 1 tech. So do you have a name for 1 tech, Foots?
I mean, obviously it would be Mason Smith, but I don't know if he's. If you ask people, some people have him in the 3rd round, some people have him in the 6th round. It's all over the board. Last year's film, I got to be honest, it was okay, but it's a lot of standing around, and so maybe that's coaching. But he, again, I if I'm being real, I don't think your 1 tech is drafted or on this team. So I think that it's a free agency body that they'll put in there, and he'll sit behind Mozzie, and it'll probably be like another Jonathan Hankins type.
Benito Jones, baby.
Somebody like that, Law. Somebody that I don't even know on the free agency wire. Because I just think when we talk about the needs, hey man, some of these 4th round corners, I'm taking them over Mason Smith. Some of these, another running back. Could we double down at running back? Like,
you don't want to double that offensive line. You want to double that at running back? Is you crazy, Foot?
Let me ask you that. Hold on, real calm.
Okay.
You're stacking running back, right? Let's talk running backs.
We'll get running back and say one more thing. Foots the King. I got one more film I want to show. I think if you're gonna go 1 tech, you have to get super surgical, and I think you only gonna have one opportunity to get him. Mac Jackson, McKinley Jackson from Texas A&M.
Gig him.
Now he is kind of on the shorter side, 6'1", 326 pounds, 80-inch wingspan. But what you get from him is he's big enough to deal with the doubles, but clearly based on the film, he has the upside. He has the ball get off, the explosion. So I think McKinley Jackson, I mean, he could be a 4th round dude. You may have to trade back, get a pick to get him. But if he's there in the 5th, he's one of the I know, right? He's one of the only dudes that I'm looking like as far as one techs go. All the rest of these cats are either 3 techs.
Man, this film already so.
What about Lovett from Florida State? I mean, he plays that type of role.
Fisk?
Fabian Lovett. Fisk is the 3 tech guy.
Crazy.
Sure.
Oh, so we're going to 1s. Okay.
Yeah, I'm still. Yeah.
You know, Lovett's 6'3", 314 or whatever, kind of that same kind of role, right? I just think Jackson is much better.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm trying to think of other dudes later in day 3, possibly.
Lovett, we got some. We got some. Let me pull up my board here. Get my board ready. Lovett is there.
Jordan Jefferson. If I'm looking at my stack right
Jordan
now,
Jefferson, LSU.
Christian Boyd from Northern Iowa was a guy.
Yeah, I was about to say not Jordan Jefferson. Christian Boyd. He's 329.
Foster King, let me ask you a question. Mason Smith from LSU, where you at on him?
That's who I was. So Mason is a guy who the film at times is underwhelming. I feel like he gets tired, but his body, you can't coach his body. Yeah. He got the long arms. He's tall, and he has the weight behind him. So I think that's one of those where it's like, okay, cool, coaching and in a role, like he's a true role player. There's no way that you ask him to be a day 1 guy. This is a true role player. But the Florida State kid isn't bad, Sky. He didn't pop off my screen. Yeah. So like you said, McKinley Jackson's a little bit better.
All right, we're gonna give 5 seconds because apparently some ads done popped up and they mad.
Man. YouTube trying to get that bread.
Come on. Shit. All right, so 1, 2, 5. All right, cool. So we went over offensive line and defensive tackle. All these things are important for us. Y'all want to go linebacker or running back next? Because Foots kind of brought up running back, so let's go linebacker.
Jalen Ford, baby. Let's go linebacker. Jalen Ford, man.
And listen, man, y'all love defense, man. I'm more so of an offense guy, so I'm gonna sit back and let y'all talk about these linebackers that I can't stand or whatever. But I kind of got a feel for what y'all are gonna say, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. Do we have enough at linebacker right now? Overshown, and I'm just gonna add this point, and then we'll just kind of talk around it or whatever. But when we was watching film on Overshown and we heard the Cowboys talk about him, they was talking about pass rush being in his future somewhere. Is that was that a Dan Quinn thing, or do you think that that's just something that we gonna do with him and like no matter who the damn coach is, we just gonna be pass rush with Overshown? And do we have enough in the linebacker room to line up and play right now?
If Overshown is healthy, Vach, he's on the field. I've seen enough, and so if that's in a pass rush role, if that's in that AA role, some of that stuff, I think that he's on the field. I'll say this about Overshown: it looks like he's put on 10 pounds of muscle.
Yeah.
So it looked like he ain't taking the weight room lightly, and that's always a great sign. I said this, and when you say that we have enough, I like Damone Clark. It just at times Damone Clark's playing like he doesn't want to get hurt. And that's always a scary thing. So to me, do we have enough? It's subjective. I like Eric Kendricks. I think all of y'all did a great job breaking him down. I think that he's a great stopgap, but I'm really looking for true mics. I think that some of the guys like Edgerrin Cooper, Edgerrin Cooper is my number 2 backer on his board, so he's a great player. But I see Edgerrin Cooper and in Overshown. Like I see the same player. Run to the ball, stay free. So that's me. And they blitzed him like. I was looking at his blitz rate off the edge. It was like a lot of blitz. I just didn't like Texas A&M defense. Like, he's 3 yards off the ball. So some of that stuff was kind of gimmicky to me. Edgerrin Cooper is a dog. I would not be mad with Edgerrin Cooper. So, but that's where I'm at with the linebackers.
Okay, for everybody that's on the panel right now, would y'all be comfortable, and we can do this quickly and come back to it, would y'all feel comfortable if we don't go linebacker early? And early, I mean like premium picks like 1, 2, 3. If we waited till the 5th round, one of those 5th round picks, 6th round pick, would you be fine with like a day 3 guy, Law Nation?
Yeah, I'll be fine with it. Only because we do have Eric Kendricks, who did say that he wanted to play that Mike role. He wanted to play that spot. And I think that they're going to, So I think when he went over to 49ers land, they said, hey, we already got somebody to do that. So that's why he's like, bump that. Let me get here. And let's keep in mind that Micah Parsons, he's gonna get back at that linebacker spot. So I think that Zim is gonna put him back at that spot in that role. He goes with my button again. With my button, get your ass out there, contain the damn ball. he gonna yell at him, get out there, and you're still gonna have your rotational piece. I think on third downs though, you slide Parsons down to be that edge rusher. And that's where I see. So I think that we can sacrifice a little bit and wait for that linebacker in a later round.
Mm-hmm. That's what makes sense though, but is that what's gonna happen? Well, we'll see. I forgot what I asked. Foots, what I asked.
You just asked how do we feel about the room and we bring somebody else in.
Is that enough? Day 3. Would you be fine using a non-premium pick on linebacker, or do you feel like we have to use a premium first, second, third round pick on linebacker first?
You know, I gave you Darius Masal. I think Maris. I'm not messing with his last name, but you know, me and Scott talked about him. These guys have special teams. They can place teams, and so they're gonna have to run down on teams. To me, I would be okay with it because you talk me into lineman. I love the running back room. I think the running back stack at this draft. I think that it's completely underrated. I think that people have gotten completely out of control with not valuing good running backs. And so I would probably go running back over linebacker. Now, the thing is, Steven is saying, and he's doubled down, they want their linebacker room to look different.
Yep.
And so that's what we got to find out. He did say that. He said that, Law.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
I think, honestly, we talk about double dipping offensive line or running back. I think there's a very good chance they'll double dip at linebacker.
Not mad, Sky.
Yeah, because they brought in what was it, Vosh? 8 or 9?
8 of them, yeah.
Okay, so 8 or 9 guys for the 30 visit, and some of them were guys that you could draft in the top 3 rounds. Some of them, the Jordan McGee's, the Hoppers of the world, are guys you can get on day 3. And the thing about linebacker, and something else he also mentioned, or what's it, McCarthy also mentioned, is they want to get bigger and better on special teams. So you get those guys.
Hyundai Santa Fe versus Honda Passport. Look what Santa Fe has.
My bad. There was an ad that popped up somewhere. But you know, you can get some of those linebackers on day 3 to play special teams and give you some depth. But is it enough? I don't think it's necessarily enough because Overshown, we're hoping. I love the game, but we really hoping. But thank God we went out and got Eric Kendricks because that will at least put a Band-Aid over this, that at least buy us some time. Just hope you don't get an injury if they don't take a linebacker and with one of those premium picks. So
Koye, do we need to take linebacker with a premium pick? Is linebacker such an emergency that we got to get one of the top 3 guys?
The only way it's an emergency, and Law actually touched on this, is if we don't use Micah Parsons as his natural position, which is linebacker. I said earlier, you know, and I'll keep saying, Dan Quinn did a disservice to this defense because we had so many players that best film was left in college because we didn't use them in the ways that they were effective in college. And Micah Parsons is the main one. You know what I mean? So when you look at his film and you look at Mike Zimmer, I think Mike Zimmer was brought in here because if you imagine Kendricks and Micah Parsons lined up in that double A gap scheme and we have more Sam Williams on the field, you don't necessarily look at that and say, okay, with the Overshown backing that up and say we have to jump out the window at linebacker in the first 3 rounds. You don't. It's only if they decide that Micah Parsons is a full-time defensive end, then you definitely need a linebacker, a premium linebacker, in my opinion. But honestly, I watched enough film on linebacker to say the only ones that impressed me were Peyton Wilson and Cooper.
Fuzz don't like Peyton Wilson.
Peyton Wilson, I like his game. I don't like his body. But his effort, his speed, his tenacity, you can't deny that. And then when you look at Cooper is a whole problem by itself. I love him at linebacker. When you say, did you see anybody get
especially
hit
Will
last year? He will be hitting. He can pass rush. He can cover good enough, but he's a run stopping just a-hole. But they lined him up everywhere, man. So I like him. But other than that, if you don't get those 2, I don't care who you get a linebacker, to be honest with you.
I'm about to pull this film up for Peyton Wilson. Fusty King, tell us why you don't like Peyton Wilson, why this film rolled out.
Well,
because you said Junior Colson is a better linebacker and you got Cooper as your number 2 guy. So I just want to know why
Cooper number 2 to who?
Junior Colson.
To no one.
Let's just watch this beautiful.
I think Wilson's film's better, but Cooper pops.
Foots, go ahead. Foots, tell us why Peyton Wilson is your third or fourth or fifth linebacker, wherever you got it.
Sliding right
there.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see right here, he's playing Mike at times, but actually, the kid 10 on their film popped a lot. He's a draftable player. Like, he was filling gaps. If you really dug
talk
into
about Cooper going crazy, you don't like
no.
Peyton Wilson. You don't like Peyton Wilson. Tell us
why. I like Peyton Wilson.
Talk about number 10. Talk about Peyton. Huh?
It's the role.
That's
the role,
10?
fellas. I don't see him as a Mike. I see him as letting him run. Yeah,
he's a Will. That's what he's gonna be.
But you got Kendricks at the mic anyway.
Kendrick, thank you, Corey.
Right, but then who's our Will right now? It's Overshown, and they're gonna give Overshown a chance to play.
Let me rewind that, Corey. Let me rewind that for you. Go ahead. Go ahead, Foots.
No, I don't see. I don't like when y'all do.
I don't like what he does.
You see what he's trying to do, Koye. This is lawyer watch. Now I don't like him. You see what I'm saying? Now I don't like him.
Why is he linebacker 5 for you?
If you being
why is he linebacker 5? Look at this effort. Look at this effort. Was he back here? The ball carrier is there. Look at this. The ball carrier. Look at him catching it. Come on, Foot.
Echoes of the whistle.
If you talking about a guy who's running to the ball,
this right time.
That's what he do. Like, if he's free to run, but we gotta. I find me guys who gonna take on blocks consistently.
That's what I was looking for too. Yeah,
like that's all. I know. I'm with you, but that's what I want.
But he ain't scared of the smoke. This ain't like the linebackers we had over the last few years when they were taught to kind of catch. I mean, these guys.
And I love. Listen. I love.
He's the guy that'll beat you to the spot too. He's like Sean Lee wasn't a guy that was taking on blocks. He was a skier. Like, he was sliding dip under blocks. But Peyton Wilson is one of those types. Like, he's when I
hear and I love Brian Broaddus. I will never question Broaddus. He's the guy. But comparing him to Luke Kuechly,
why not?
But he wasn't the only one. It was others.
He ain't wrong. He ain't lying though. He closed though.
Why not?
No, because Luke Kuechly at Boston College was amazing, bro. Like,
Peyton Wilson at North Carolina State is amazing,
bro.
It ain't even close, bro. I'm being honest. Hold on, wait. Man. You telling me a healthy Peyton Wilson? Let me run down. Will come and be Rookie of the Year. The next year, Defensive Player of the Year. 7 Pro Bowls, 6 All Pros. If Peyton Wilson do that, then
he might under Mike Zimmer.
Zimmer gonna have him.
He gonna get a free 5 sacks to the A gap.
I love y'all.
No. Real shit. Luke Kuechly, amazing. Absolutely. Rivera with that system there with Thomas Davis next to him and those guys in front of him, that also helps a great player like Luke Kuechly too. Are we going to have that in place by year 2? I don't know about all that, but
Peyton Wilson better athlete too. Peyton Wilson better athlete.
I'll give you that. But when we talk about up here instincts, it's only Ray Lewis for me that was better than Luke.
You know what?
All time.
It's a world. It's a world to get. It's a world to get my guy Damone Clark off the field because my guy Okoye, he want to go back and forth with me with Damone Clark. Damone Clark ain't it, Okoye. You still like that, huh?
He's not playing out of position.
You're not fixing him. You still out on him.
Listen. I watch just like you guys. Every time we draft a guy, I watch their college film, and I watch it intently, right? LSU Damone Clark. Tell me that LSU Damone Clark is playing for the Cowboys right now.
He's not.
He is not. So I fell in love with the LSU missile too, but he's not playing like that. So anytime, and I watch a lot of film just like everybody else. Just to your point just now with Wilson, when you don't have to ask, who's the best player on that defense because he's flying the fuck around all day. Like that's what I look for. And then when you look up guys that you think you can develop, right? You can see it. Usually, you can see something that sparks and says, "Well, he makes bonehead plays, but he can do this very well." I haven't seen Damone Clark do jack shit on film that I can say you can build around at least that in his game.
Can you
can put him in the game.
Can you give me this though? Can you give me this though? If you go back to his rookie year under George Edwards, when he was here, did you saw some flashes of LSU Clark?
Yes, but then once LV got hurt in this
because
season,
he played out of position.
So Koye, we're gonna have to put a stake up or something on something, with Clark, because I'm looking at it and I get it. I know you said that he dog water right now. But he had Scott McCurley and Darian Thompson.
I ain't arguing
them
that.
in spots. So now I think that for sure Mike Zim is going to get him going.
And Gunther, to your point, Guy, Gunther.
He got to be.
Linebacker is about tenacity and temperament. He don't got that. He don't got it. Too soft.
Man, he's soft. Okay.
Soft linebacker, like a finesse linebacker is like, that's like a finesse.
He's playing. He's tackling not to get hurt. Point, and like you can see it.
I'm not out on Clark yet. Here's my
problem.
I'm not on the number that he wears. I don't think he should wear that, but I get all of that. But everything else, I like the kid.
I'm out on
Here's my issue.
Gotta go crazy on the production, boy.
When Roquan Smith in the middle of that defense, bro, like you feel that. You get what I'm saying? Like people could say all they want, linebackers, man, you run the ball against the Roquan Smith, you getting hit. You see what I'm saying? Look at old boy from San Francisco. Fred Warner took over the game versus Dallas. Just took the game over. And when
the
Tony Pollard ran the ball,
him and Greenlaw destroyed the playoffs.
Bro, when you ran the ball, you was getting hit. That's all I want. I want guys. I want to get back to some of that. And then Sky hit on it. Paul Gunther is a better coach, I think, than what we've had since your boy Edwards Law, to be fair.
But you get what I'm saying though. When you look at Fred Warner and Greenlaw, they tribute all of their success to DeMeco Ryans. I don't think that when he was there, I don't think that they would have been those guys if they had Scott McCurley and Darian Thompson.
They had the big paws on a pup though, Law. Like you could still see the paws on a pup. You can turn them into whatever their capabilities are. You have to point to something that tells me that
the point if you want to, because if I want to argue where's the point at, or you point to, you said college. That's where you have to point to. Where is that Damone Clark? And I did think you saw flashes of it in his rookie season when he was playing in the right position, of a middle linebacker. But Wanye Thomas came on. I forget. Shouts out to the podcast. Who was it? Terrence and them. His podcast, and he said I don't think people missed this. We had to play Damone Clark out of position. They put him at the Mike linebacker. Plus, he wasn't being coached the same. The example I used, Detroit. If you go look at the Detroit Lions linebacker coach, when he took over the linebacker position, look at the guys he brought in. Dude like Jack Campbell, who we like, Foots, right? We talked about a lot last year. One of the things we said, though, was that, hey, man, we got to see if he can come downhill. And he's got the size to be thumper, but is he going to do that consistently? Man, he got to Detroit, and I'm like, this don't look like the same backer from Iowa in a good way. And go look at Anzalone, Jack Campbell, Malcolm Rodriguez, the dude that made the interception against the Bucs. All those linebackers, I promise you, go watch. Sometimes if you remove the skin tone and the number, you be like, these motherfuckers look the same because they're being coached. It's the inverse of what you say. Boss says, if one person is playing a certain way, it's that person. But if the whole unit's playing that way, I got to go look at the coaching. And I give Detroit a ton of credit. And I look at us, and I look at for years how our linebackers have been playing. And I have to say, I don't think we're being coached to do the things that we're seeing other teams do.
Facts.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Defensive line and linebacker. Al Harris made it clear that we're not coaching anybody on the defensive line and a linebacker because the secondary, every player to a man, has improved. The secondary has improved.
2020.
No one has improved on the defensive line. You had Neville Gallimore, who was doing well. He went backwards in the last 2 years, or in the last couple years under Dan Quinn. You had guys sliding backwards, not going forward. You got Chauncey, who hasn't developed into what he could be. Osa hasn't developed in what he can be fully yet, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Nobody has moved forward on the defensive line or at linebacker. So you're exactly right.
And I think that's part of. I remember when everybody was like, "Oh, they brought Al Harris back because they didn't want to lose such a." Bruh, they brought Al Harris back because he a good coach. Don't do that. They brought him back. Oh, let's keep him away from Dan Quinn. No, bruh. They brought him back because he's a good coach. Yeah. And eventually, I think he'll be a DC in this league, and he should be. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I that's a great point of call. I did not think about that. He developed DeRon Bland. He developed Trayvon Diggs. He developed that back end.
Look at Wanye.
Looks like it's still.
Trayvon Diggs is going to bat for Al Harris. How many motherfuckers you see on Twitter going to bat for Scott McCurley?
Yeah.
Nobody. No, but and even when George Edwards was here, Micah did credit George. If you go listen to Micah's rookie year, Koya, we talk about this a lot. I think that way they use Micah his rookie year was fantastic.
That's how you use him.
Facts. He came out and he said, "Man, I have to credit George Edwards." And George Edwards worked with guess who? Eric Kendricks and Anthony Barr in Minnesota and Mike Zimmer. So it'd be nice to get him back, but that ain't happening. They got Gunther though. Gunther has worked with other backers and worked with Zimmer too. So like coaching is really important. And if you look at Micah, a lot of people question Micah at linebacker, but his rookie year, you didn't question the damn thing because you had a coach who helped him eliminate some of those things that he may needed to work on or massage him. So coaching matters, man. Obviously the player matters, but coaching really, really matters. And nobody will sit here and say Scott McCurley is some amazing coach.
Hell no.
So what y'all think I should get? A tomahawk or a T-bone out of you, man? What you want, man? What you want to put on the line, Koye? What you want, man?
I love tomahawk steak, man. Let's
we'll put it on the line as of April the 19th.
And I'll pay like I'm right.
Yeah. And
So panel, do we even think Micah's gonna be in the plan for a Mike linebacker anyway? You know what I'm saying? Like is he even gonna get enough reps at linebacker to even? And look, not what we would do, because I just think what would make the most sense. And look, I'm just a dude with a microphone and camera. We can all say this. Hey man, majority of time, just be the fastest dude on the field and chase dudes, and then on clear pass rushing downs, that's when you go take care of your business. I got tired of seeing Micah in 4-point stances dealing with Trent Williams on rundowns and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how much power Zimmer got in that.
That's so good, bro.
I don't know how much you know how much Zimmer feels how we feel, or I don't know what the actual plan is. But do y'all think that we're gonna get more Micah at linebacker this year? Foots, go first.
The answer is yes, 100 times yes, bro. Yeah. And that's why I said I'm not mad at getting the late round guy. I love Kosa, but I'm not dumb. Like I love all these guys, but bro, it ain't a linebacker in this draft that can do anything that Micah could do on the football field. And I love those guys, but it ain't close. It ain't a player in this draft. And so what's happened is like you said, you camp him on Trent Williams. To me, you're taking what he does great away from him, especially on rundowns. If you're just gonna camp him on one side of the field, I'm an OC. I'm running away from him. I'm scheming away from him.
I'm running at him. Yeah.
I'm double teaming him. I'm chipping him. Look what Green Bay did. They used resources, 13 personnel. Hey,
hit him.
We got this. We got this big tight end. Hey, Micah, deal with all this all game. You get what I'm saying? And you got them little linemen in there. Guess what? We gonna do it until you come out of it. The other thing that nobody's hit on, bro, Zimmer a beast versus that Shanahan scheme. Yep. Like, go look at what he was able to do versus the Rams when they was hot. He had Sean McVay pulling his hair out, and we all love Sean McVay. He had Sean McVay pulling his hair out because what he do on the back end, he don't give you tells, and that's another thing. With Dan Quinn, everything was just like, it's cover 3, it's press man, and then around the Seattle game, it's like, bruh, we gonna find it. Like teams started saying, "Oh, this all they gonna do? They're not gonna disguise nothing." And then when we try to go to play some zone scheme, it was just like, bruh, this is crazy. Like we look crazy versus Green Bay, bro. Like guys wide open. You trying to play split safeties? It looked crazy. That will not happen with Zimmer. So I'm gonna say this, Vach, to answer your point. Micah's going to play linebacker, and I think that he should, rightfully so. He'll still get his sacks. It's how they come. So if we need to be looking at more DNs or 5 techs or 4s, sign me up.
There you go. That's
Micah's going to play linebacker.
But to echo what you're saying with Micah playing linebacker, it'll be predicated upon what Sam Williams can do. We need that guy to consistently.
That's an amazing point.
He got to be consistent to get that pressure. He had 280 snaps last season, right around that number, and he still had 5 sacks and a half. So I believe if he can get more snaps, he's a double-digit guy. But it's predicated upon what he do for Parsons, because Parsons, if he can play at that linebacker role majority of the time, that hook the sideline or hook the flat or hook through the A gap or B gap, that's going to be more explosive. And I'll listen to your show, Vach, when you was talking to Duke Manyweather. He was breaking down. Y'all need to check that out. And he was breaking down. How my guy Mike Zim liked to disguise, and he was talking about against the Saints, And I said, ooh. That's a nugget right there on how Mike Zim thinks ahead on how he like to get his linebackers busy and keeping those offensive linemen with their head on the swivel. So we're going to see more of that. And 4-4s on the edge from Sam Williams, and you got a 4-3 coming through the middle out of Parsons. Woo! Count me in.
Yeah. And with that double A gap mug, Michael already run past guards with no scheme. Imagine when you put a twist up there, when you start playing games with these quarterbacks, you got a rookie quarterback in Washington. Man, good luck, bro. If you don't know where Micah coming from and you have another comparable linebacker who could cover him, like an Overshown. So that's where people are like, oh, why would you play 3 linebackers? Kendricks. This is why. Kendricks, Micah, Overshown, whoever you draft, I like that. If you get injured, I love that versus having a safety down there. I love it.
You ain't going to play much real 3 linebackers. And I hated that Steven said that because today's game, you're playing nickel. It's like 78% of the damn time.
But Overshown has that flex though, Sky. That's
you're not going to play 3, bro. I'm telling you right now. How many in 2024 you are not rolling out a traditional 4-3 as a base. That's more maybe like 20% of the time, if that.
Yeah.
So but you still need 2 real backers though. Like you can't. Last year we had 2.
I would say this: if you trust Overshown to play a little bit on the back end, which he showed he could do it at Texas, you might Sky if he's a linebacker.
He's not doing that, man.
You know what it is? That dude Marquise Bell gonna play curse role.
Ain't gonna be a curse role.
Ain't gonna be no curse.
It's not gonna be a curse role. Now,
That's a wrap.
Okay.
No, dead serious. Go look at Mike Zimmer does not run 3 safeties like that. Just go look at his history. He runs 2 traditional safeties, 2 linebackers, and if this was back in the early 2000s and 90s, then you'll have a legitimate 4-3. But you saw who in Minnesota? Anthony Barr, Eric Kendricks. Name me the 3rd linebacker. Go. Because the league's changed to the sense where it's more 2 linebackers in nickel. You know what I'm saying? But with that said, you need 2 real linebackers. You can't roll out, curse at bro. How many times in the Miami game did we see J-Ron curse at middle linebacker? Marquise Bell at middle linebacker in the Bills game, and the Damone Clark a will guy. But I won't get back to the Micah point though. Because we listen, me and Corey talk about this for years, man. We believe the way Micah was used his rookie year was perfect. Was perfect. The reason why he wasn't last year is because they had absolutely 0 legitimate feared pass rush when he was not on the field. If you're going to do that, and I'm all for using Micah like he was in his rookie year, but if you're going to do that, you absolutely have to replace Micah. Like I love me some Sam Collier, and I pull up. I love Sam Williams. Like we could watch Sam Williams here. We could watch some Sam Williams. But Sam Williams ain't even in the same stratosphere as Micah. This is why if we were going to move Micah to linebacker, I would have loved to go get a Danielle Hunter because now I have a feared pass rusher down in, down out, and that's not going to happen when Micah's off this field. And if Sam has to leave the field, oh my goodness. Oh, if Mike is playing backer, who the hell's rushing? We don't have enough depth up there. So you better fulfill it in the draft or free agency.
Latu, baby.
Hey,
now we're talking.
Oh, you with it.
Yeah, I'm hating Latu. Now I know the injury situation. I'm just saying, a guy like Latu, Verse, I would love. Verse?
Oh, Verse in this defense?
I'm moving Micah back to linebacker. No questions asked.
Scott, do you think that Sam Williams can take the Mike Zimmer type of coaching? He's a guy that's heavy on the internet. Set me free. Pouting. Man, y'all tripping, my boy.
$64,000 question.
Like, do you think that he can thrive as a Mike Zimmer guy? Go ahead, Corey. Why?
Well, 2 things. I want to hit the Micah Parsons point too.
Do both, please. Do both.
Okay. So, what people are forgetting about Mike, I'll start with your question first with Sam Williams. You ever had you ever taught a class like a little bunch of little ass bad kids or whatever? You know what I mean? What you do with the kid that just can't sit still? He really got ADHD. He bad. He can't focus for very long. You put him right next to you.
Give him something to do. Yeah, put him next to you.
You make him. You give him responsibility. You put him near you, and you kind of like you give him more attention. I think taking a guy like Sam Williams every time he screws up and burying him on the bench is the wrong idea, because then you got a firecracker on your bench that needs something to do. And then you make him your gunner and you wonder why most of his penalties came on special teams. So he shouldn't have been on special teams.
Sky, you hit on that.
Do that. but most of his penalties were on special teams.
5 out of his 8 penalties came from special teams.
Yes, he should have been on the field as a defensive end. And to your point, Scott, you nailed it. But when Micah was off the field, you still have Dante Fowler at last year anyway, and Sam Williams, who both could have been 10-sack guys last year if they would have got the reps. Fowler was very productive as a pass rusher. So I think that's to the point of what Sam Williams can do. I think, yes, Zimmer will get through to Sam Williams due to the fact that Zimmer will look at his play and give him basically his walking papers, or his shit or get off the pot type of statement, saying like, listen, man, we need you to play the way you play, obviously. Right. But if you want to play, you got to stop the dumb shit, man. I think that's what someone needed to have. That conversation needed to be had, and I knew that was going to be the problem when he started 2 fights in training camp. I said, nobody is saying shit to this dude, and he got arrested in the offseason. I said, no, he doesn't respect nobody in this locker room. No coach. He don't give a damn.
Coaching.
He don't give a damn. And then Jerry was like, well, he did improve. It was improvement. So
he wasn't going 120. He went 100.
Right. I forgot all about that.
But to the Micah Parsons point, I think what this Cowboy fan base keeps forgetting, right? Because I'm in love with this dude as a pass rusher. He was doing that in college, and I like that was great.
Right.
What people don't forget is because COVID happened, right? They don't realize this dude is so good at his natural position that he sat down an entire year, foregone coaching. He didn't get any coaching at linebacker that year. He sat out.
Yeah, he good.
And then still got drafted.
Yeah,
damn near top 10. Yeah. Right. So that's how good he is as a linebacker. Hey, nobody knew he was a pass rusher when they drafted him. We have a linebacker that's good enough to sit out an entire year and still go top 10. That's how good he is at linebacker.
He was a running back in the defensive end in high school, went to Penn State, had to learn linebacker quickly, and became the nation's top linebacker.
That is how good. Yes, exactly that. So, and then you look at one more point.
No, you're good, Corey. Take it.
You look at his sacks from last year. He had 14 sacks.
Yeah, where it came from?
7 of them came from the interior anyway.
Down inside.
Anyway, standing up. Yeah. Anyway.
Me and Scott,
he can do it, man.
I'm gonna say this, and Vach like to stay neutral. He the most neutral person, and that's why I love my bro. Me and Scott was real. I'm really upset with Cowboys Nation, bro. Like, and I put my name on it. I don't care. I'm not trying to be friends with people. For everybody to call, and it wasn't you, Law. So we could talk about this. All you did was do what you do. Right. For us to kind of like throw Micah around like how we did, bro, like I just didn't like that. And I'm
what got to do with this? What I say?
No, I'm saying you don't. I'm saying you don't.
No, what you got to preview?
I said you.
Let me tell you something about Vach.
Bipartisan Vach.
Is he listening to the point? I said Vach. I said you stay neutral everywhere.
See, Vach scared.
Okay, I put my name on it. I'm in Iraq. I'm in a whole nother state. I don't see these guys, and if anybody got an issue,
in Houston,
I'm saying, man, come, man. All right, go ahead.
This is my only point. I did not like how Cowboys Nation. I respect Jesse Holley, but to put that on Micah, that he doesn't work hard. That was. Listen.
No,
I would love to debate with Jesse. I know that him and Scott.
I'm not letting you do that.
Get it out, man. Go ahead.
Hey, we're the fight button.
Get it out.
Yeah, love Foots. Listen. Yeah. We have an obligation to be honest, even though we speak to these guys. Like I did a show with his brother. And I said it to his brother. If you watch the film in Green Bay, Micah wasn't playing balls to the wall in that game.
Hold on. Okay, I'm so glad you brought that up. Let me fight back. Let me push back, bro. That was Dan Quinn, and
I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying let's not act like.
I'm with you.
Let's not act like there's no validity to what he said, because Micah
can't go out there and do
what Jesse Holley didn't do. What Jesse Holley didn't do. The only thing he didn't do in that statement, he didn't give him any grace by saying, you take a player who's a natural linebacker and you say, hey, look, I just told you he skipped a year because of COVID, and then he played 3 years or 2 years out of position, so he wasn't being coached at his natural position. So of course his reps, he needs more reps at linebacker to play well at his best position. So he was relying on his athleticism. He didn't give him any grace by saying that, but say that the way he played in the playoffs was
he wasn't just talking playoffs though.
His best. I was talking playoffs.
He wasn't talking playoffs.
I'm about to pull my hair out.
That's not what he was doing.
I don't want to get into the weeds. I'm sorry, Scott, but I also do want to say this on a public forum, bro. We asked Micah to play linebacker, rush down to A gap, rush down to C gap, play off ball. Like you asking him to do everything. So you want him to be, I said this, you want to be Nick Bosa 1 rep, then you want to be Fred Warner the next rep, then you want him to be like, bruh,
I want him to be
somewhere.
Penn State,
I know, but hold on, Okoye. You got to also think Dan Quinn. Look at how he fit. Look at the D line calls that he called the first 13 personnel. We're talking about a goal line set. I broke it down. I don't even do the film like y'all, but I do know 13 personnel is damn near goal line. And he got 4 D linemen out there, and he got Micah taking on a double team. What can Micah do?
That was insane.
Yeah.
When you look at a guy like Micah and they put him on the edge, and you say, "Hey, as a coach, you're watching them run at him and double team him and scrape him off the ball, right?
Right,
and leave him there an entire game, or like we talk about the Trent Williams game. I give you that with Dan Quinn. That is very true. That is very true.
No, all I'm saying is, Okoye, I'm just putting a name on it, saying like, bro, we mad at a 2-time All-Pro. This is that Luke Keith 3-time.
Yeah,
Since he was
I wasn't mad at
rookie.
him.
No, I'm not saying
Foots is talking about the nation. There is I don't know why this is happening. Maybe people are mad at podcasts, but
I'm blind. So what's happening?
The nation is basically turned into Dak Prescott on the other side of the ball. Where The fan base is saying get rid of Michael Parsons.
Trade Michael Parsons.
It ain't just. It don't stop at Micah. There are legitimate. Maybe it's the loud minority. Dak, Micah, and CD Lamb. They want to get rid of and accumulate picks.
And the problem is though, you are talking about a fan base that hates the best players, but they advocate for like Rico Gathers.
Yeah, where's this smoke for Sam Williams, who's out here hitting people going 190 miles per hour? Not the guy that's out here doing for his community, that's out here playing 17 different positions for you. That's a 3-time All-Pro that does work hard, that does study, that does invite his teammates over for dinner, that does, hey, Sam, I see. Come on over here, Sam. I got you. Come work out with me. I can't make you do things on the field. I can't call the plays on the field. Where's the smoke for that player as opposed to your guy who's pretty much? I mean, listen, y'all can come at the Green Bay Packers game all you want.
I jumped in that. My bad, because I'm not on the wagon of doing shit with Michael Parsons off this team.
Oh no. There's a legitimate side of his fan base that want to get rid of Michael Parsons.
Yeah, that's great.
So my thing is for Jesse Holly to say that. Respect Jesse. I tune into what y'all do. But bruh, are you in the room with these guys? Like, bruh, I don't know what Micah being asked to do. We don't know what he being asked to do. So we saying that he don't watch film. Bro, that's a rough indictment to put on somebody, bro, to me. Yeah. Like, and that type of stuff is rough to me. Like, and I'm putting my name on, like, to say these things, oh, he could be better. Bruh, you know, bruh, Kayvon Thibodeau, has he even come close to his ceiling? He was drafted higher than Micah.
I think, but I still think like this. What I heard, I think what people in our generation, we have more sensitive ears. Because what I heard from Jesse, although he, like I said, he painted himself into a corner with the way he delivered it. But what I heard is this dude can be better than he's showing on film right now. That is the truth. Now, why did he say
you interpreting what that ain't? If he said that, but that's not what he said.
I thought he was saying.
There was some personal shots there.
It's a 3-time,
and if he becomes more cerebral, he'll be even better. That's what
we're not talking about. Pro Bowler, Okoye, 3-time All-Pro, first team.
I'm saying 3-time All-Pro because he can still be better, and I don't mean he's gonna. I'm telling you, listen. As a pass rusher. Michael Parsons is an A-grade pass rusher.
He's not even. He hasn't hit his prime yet.
Yes. As a pass rusher. No.
Period.
As a player that like once he flips that switch and he understands everything that's going on, you will not have seen anything like Michael Parsons on a football field.
And that takes development.
That's my point.
That takes more than 2 or 3 years, right? Like
if you look at the film I did on him in college, I said the same thing. I said you can make him a pass rusher. And he'll be day one, great, good, whatever, right? Or you can take 3 or 4 years to develop him at all the positions that he can possibly play. And so you probably won't see his best to his 3rd or 4th season. So you right on the money with that. But I thought that's what Holly was saying. If that's not, you know him better than I do, Scott.
You've been
I'm not taking up.
It ain't about what I know. It's about
what I took from what he was saying. I didn't take it like I hate Micah Parsons' speech.
No. It ain't about what I know. It's about what he said. It went beyond his play on the field. It was more, hey, he don't study, he's lazy, the brand, this whole thing.
Rough,
and it was just like, I mean, why not just ask him that? Because, he came out and was like, hey, nobody's telling me this. It's just my opinion. And then the delivery was as if he don't do all these things. In reality, a lot of those things you said was wrong. He don't invite nobody over. He's not a leader. He does all those things. And it's like, that's weird that we went that route. After that loss, as if it was solely on one individual. But yeah,
true.
I get a little heat for this though, but I'm gonna say this though: in the last 13 to 15 years, the most dominant defensive player I ever seen was Aaron Donald. And in order for him to win, they had to go get a Sue. They had to go get a Leonard Floyd. They had to go get a Von Miller. They had to go get a Jalen Ramsey. They had to go get other people to help them out. So for us to think, or for anybody to think that Parsons can do it and get it done by himself, or we did things equivalent to that, they must be out there cotton picking
Law, he ain't by himself on his defense though. That's not
you heard that last statement I just said. Who's the Von Miller?
Oh, okay.
Who's the Ramsey?
Bobby Wagner.
Bobby. Well, yeah.
We got Jalen.
We got a loaded
we got a Jalen for sure.
Yeah, we do got a Jalen Ramsey. I'll take Trayvon Diggs over Jalen Ramsey.
Micah is the reason why Dan Quinn got lazy because he's so good.
Facts.
Hold on, Fliss. Hold on now. Clear out. ISO. Clear him out. What happened now, Fliss? Say it again.
Micah Parsons is the reason Dan Quinn got lazy as a coach. And
Yo, Law, you got another button to hit?
Man.
Scott, you got that.
Hey, Law, I'm gonna be honest.
Time out. Hold on, Fliss. Yeah. Law, you got something?
Man,
one more time. Let's drop it one more time. Micah Parsons is the reason Dan Quinn got lazy as a coach.
Man, I mean, can you elaborate on that foot? That's tough. Yo, that's tough. That's tough.
I just heard Law say that Aaron Donald was the most dominant player that he's seen. I'll be honest with you. I'm not, and that's up for debate. That's subjective. Cool. I have not seen an athlete as good, and I do this, bro. I have not seen an athlete. Mike, do we realize this Joker is a 4.3, 4.4 athlete?
Stay focused now, Fliss. You was on to something with
Aaron Donald. He practiced with Nas.
Like, no, run that back.
Hold on, Fliss. Stay focused, man. You was on to something with Dan Quinn. Now you talking about.
Let me get back.
Stay on track, man. Go ahead.
Hold
on. So Fliss, you said. You said that Michael was so good.
Yeah,
he made Dan lazy. Don't start talking about 40 times. Now stay on track with that. Give me some more of that. That's something. I ain't heard nobody say that yet. But
it's a simple answer. Dan would go into games, find.
You like to get wet though.
He would go into games, find the weakest tackle, and just stick Mike over there and say,
"Shit, I wish he did that." He didn't.
Hey, who the best guy out there? Stand over there.
Hold on. He didn't do it as it was certain. But then when you had a scheme and like move Micah, and again we go back to the Green Bay game. Okay, you're camping him, and he's getting double teamed all game. Why would you keep Micah on one side of the field, getting double teamed, getting reach blocked, doing all these things? Why would you do that? If that's fine, like Micah doesn't win that way. So when you hear some random defensive coach say, "Oh, Micah doesn't show up in big games," of course he doesn't. He being out like he's
out coached.
You don't coach. Listen, you don't tell Steph Curry drive to the basket. You let if Steph gonna score 30, you let him score 50. You don't let him like, bro. What are we doing? So that's my point, Botch. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys.
No. Yeah, you good.
Yeah, the Woo side.
I feel so bad.
I thought I had this
because the Bills game.
Record that clip. I'm trying to get that out on socials. That's cool. Yo, Foots, that was cold, man. Because look, though, I think that's fair. I think that's facts. And one thing that you don't want your coordinator to do is to be sitting on his hands like, hey man, we got Trey Diggs. We'll just throw him over there with no help. You know what I'm saying? You don't just want, hey man, we got DeMarcus Lawrence. We ain't gonna scheme him up to do, because it was many times. Me and Will still text all the time. We watch the games and all that. I'm like, man, dog, like, why is Micah even over there on Trent? Like, is this like an ego thing? Like Michael wants to be the best guy? Not saying that Micah's ego, but like coaching, right? If we're watching the Giants, yeah, Micah can beat Andrew Thomas. He can get 2 sacks on Andrew Thomas. He'll get 7 on Neal. Put him on Neal. You know what I'm saying? And I was just, it would be a lot of times we'll be watching the games, man. I'm like, man, what's the thought process behind Micah versus the best guy? And I'm trying to make sense of, okay, well, we putting best on best. Who are we trying to set up on the other side? Are we setting D-Law for something? Are we setting Osa for something? I'm up here like, man, okay, we got to play for Neville Gallimore. Listen how I sound. We got to play for Neville Gallimore. How about you make a play for Micah? Why doesn't Micah have more? Like, dog, we found so much success in lining Micah up over the center and letting him whoop the center. And Sky, what's the very next play we'll see? Micah and B gap in a damn 4-point stance kicking it. And I'm like, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
Push, you might be on to something, man.
No, I mean, listen, when you got good players, you take care of them. That's Dak, that's CD. Listen, there's teams that would die to have a 10-win season. Stop watching ESPN. Dog, you got all pros and Pro Bowlers. Some of this is coaching. Now, they didn't play great. They didn't play great in the playoff game. Nobody did. But some of this is coaching, and Dan got lazy. And I also think Dan knew he was leaving. He saw the right one. I saw it around the Bills game, bro.
Green Bay game looked like.
But you know what?
Right now.
One of the best games that we seen, but we didn't win it. But it was the best rebound game. That Miami's game, how they used Parsons in that particular game. Although we didn't win that game.
From it, like
because they were the number one. They were the number 1 offense and the number 3 or something like that defense. Miami was going in there thinking like, shoot, if the Bills were able to run like that, we finna be Florida relays on the Cowboys. And by them putting Parsons back to that spot, I thought for sure when we went into that Green Bay game, we destroyed that Bills tape and never go back to it. And then we went in that Green Bay game with the Bills philosophy on defense. It was like crazy.
That's the question. Down. Like when you talk about Dan Quinn, you have to ask, man, is it gross incompetence or is it intentional? Because there's no way you don't know. Because they're watching the film through the season too. There's no way you didn't watch the Arizona game, the Bills game, and watch this tape and say, we have to have an answer for this, and still go into a playoffs with no answer for this, knowing that the 5 losses that you have all happen one way.
Right.
So of course a team that's trying to beat you is going to do what the other teams who beat you did. And you have no preparation for that. That didn't make any sense.
I think he flamed out.
Like, there's no way you're that dumb.
I just think he flamed out from a plan standpoint. He came into Dallas with the plan, right? Hey, let's go get Brent Urban. Let's draft Bo Hanna. Let's get some of these big boys, right? Hey, we're going to try something new that I haven't done before. We're going to sign Keanu Neal, move him to safety. That didn't work out. Donovan Wilson gets hurt. Damn it, we found that role with Jaron Kearse. And it worked for year one because we were so used to what we saw in 2020, which was atrocious, right? 2021 comes around, all these interceptions and turnovers, and it was amazing. It was fun. But the fundamental thing we didn't do at a high level was stop the run. And in the playoffs, we couldn't get all those turnovers again. So what happens in the league, y'all? Teams figure you out. Do you have a counter? For years, we got on Kellen Moore for not having a counter in game and in season. I thought Dan kind of had a little counter his first year or so. Then he got figured out, and he just never could counter, man. And he just kept doing the same thing consistently over and over while teams like the Shanahan tree said, oh, this is easy to deal with because you're doing, and this is no lie, this comes from a player in the locker room. We ran the same 3 plays all game.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Cannot do that, man.
Yeah. But that shows it wasn't a meritocracy, too, because you had guys, like I said, like Wanye buried on the bench for Kearse, who couldn't, I don't think he could hold a jockstrap last year. So, when you see stuff like that, it's like, how bad do you really want to win? Or do you want to
keep your favorite players out there. And I think it was more so that you got Sam Williams and Dante Fowler and Rashaan Evans not playing, Wanye Thomas not playing. You know what I mean? You had a bunch of guys who could give us quality reps just sitting on the bench, not playing. Or guys who were just getting ran through, man.
2 snaps the entire game for that Green Bay Packers game that Sam Williams had. 2 snaps, man. Come on.
Mozzie had like one
that
or two.
don't even sound right, bro.
And look, if you guys go back to the Illuminati chat we always talk about, wasn't it? I don't know what week it was. Didn't I say, hey, dog, they not really feeling DQ. Everybody not feeling him. Right now.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody not feeling him. And like they like, oh man, DQ, my guy. But when it came to football, people was looking sideways like, hey man, why ain't I out here playing? Hey man, why ain't we switching things up? Hey man, 3 plays? So I think the honeymoon phase wore off in 2023. And it trickled down on the field.
Yeah. And I say this. Listen, Zimmer, Belichick, those defensive schemers, those hard-nosed guys, they not trying to be your buddy. Their players revere them. It's different. They're not trying to be, hang with them. It's a different type of they come back later. What did Darren Woodson say about Mike Zimmer? This is one of the best safeties to ever play the game.
I couldn't stand him at first. Yeah.
Come back. He was the best coach because like this is the thing that I always tell players. You should worry when I'm not saying nothing to you.
Right.
You should worry when I'm not coaching you hard.
And let me say this. Like, I appreciate what Dan did do from our historically bad defense, right? Yeah. But again, it just flamed out. He's going to go to Washington. He's going to make that defense better early.
Yeah, he will.
Easily. Yeah. When he first got here, the first thing he said was, hey, I want to take what I did well in Seattle and Atlanta and what I didn't do well, and I want to figure these things out and mix it. I don't want to be the same person. He wasn't. He was not this traditional cover 3 defensive coordinator. He's going to go to Washington. He's going to mix some things up. It's going to look better than it did because Washington was porous. But I'm curious what happens after a year. What happens after a year and a half? Will it then get back to being figured out against better teams that can coach?
He's a great communicator, and on top of that, Joe Witt Jr. He's pretty decent with his people. Right so he's a hard ass, and Cliff Kingsbury, he trying to reclaim his name and everything. So
that's the
Washington team. They got everything in order, but they don't have a damn quarterback. So we okay.
The problem.
I'm not saying Washington's gonna be great. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but they don't have quarterbacks. So we okay.
The problem that they're gonna have is
no quarterback.
Cliff Kingsbury is not an NFL coach. And I've watched this guy for years. Air raid guy, comes from that Mike Leach, the whole 9, great college quarterback. Bro, that crap he was trying to do in Arizona, no. And you try to run that stuff out there with Jaden Daniels against these athletes, no. So, I mean, this isn't Washington talk, but I'm with you on Dan Quinn. But I do like Scott now. Honestly, Scott got me on it. Show me the OC. Okay. Show me the scheme. But some of these guys, they gonna flame. We gonna talk draft day of. I'm telling you now, some of these quarterbacks gonna flame because of the OC in the process. Just being honest.
Right.
We ain't talk about these running backs yet.
Oh man, before we get into that, man, yo, chat, can we just get flames?
We rolling.
Back on chat, man. Can we just get flames? Some fire or something.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Water, whatever y'all want to do.
Yeah.
Please, man, round table.
Come on, let's go, baby.
They can come closer than close. Yeah.
Come on, let's get it.
Drop, man.
No, they never will be.
All right, hey man. We can do one last one. We right at 2 hours. It don't feel like 2 hours, but I ain't gonna hold you.
30 minutes. Feel like 30 minutes, man.
I ain't gonna hold y'all too long, man. I've been asking people this all off season. So we know the run scheme was bad. We know that Deuce Vaughn couldn't get it going in the games. He didn't get his opportunities. It never was really a thing. When he did get his opportunities, it didn't work out. Was the run scheme bad? Or was it just Deuce Vaughn bad? Okay. Further context, right? If the run scheme is cool, can we just add a better running back and we'll be running the football? What I'm saying, if the run scheme is bad, will drafting a running back even fix your issues? And you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I want to put on the table right now, right? I want to weigh, and look, man, I'm not even gonna say Royce Freeman name for real, because I just, he's I don't want to say, man, he may not even be around, you know. Rico will probably it'll be some combination of Lipke being fullback, you know, whatever guy. Deuce will be fighting for his life. Rico Gathers is probably safe. Everybody else that comes in after that, I don't know. We'll see. But tell me about the run game. Tell me about Deuce Vaughn. Is he going to be a part of your plans? Is the scheme even good enough? Should we even consider running back in that way? I know what Will still think about this run scheme.
I was just watching Deuce. I pulled up some Deuce film. I just like, get out of here, man.
A little bit.
It's not Deuce. I'm talking about the blocking. This is awful.
You're right. And if you're gonna run that C gap scheme, you've seen teams to do it. Like the 49ers, they don't run inside the A gap that way. What's the other team, Scott? Miami? So what kind of scheme would we run?
We don't know what we're doing.
Jeff Blasco and Mike Solari. Those are the two.
Law, I shit you not. We show up on game day. We try a little bit of this,
a little bit of that.
We try a little bit of that. Don't none of this shit work. I promise. Now
we do a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
So my only hope is this dude by the name of Steve Simcoe. You know, they went and picked this guy up, and hopefully, I just hope that he can get something going and get some of this new age stuff in here. I like the way Rico run. We all like the way Rico run. Just not as an independent runner by himself. Right. He is a split back. So whoever we go in this draft, they got to get busy. If we draft an offensive line early, you got to marry that offensive lineman with a running back out of this draft. You can't just go and say, okay, let's abandon this running back room and we will roll with Rico. We will roll with Royce Freeman. We will roll with Tiny Deuce Vaughn. We will roll with whoever, Snoop Connor. Shout out to Snoop Connor. I like my Mississippi boys, but that's just it. That's all we have right now. So I don't know the scheme. I don't see that we're going to be a C-gap running scheme, but hey, if we get that center, y'all like, maybe we can introduce running back through A gap and B gaps again.
Come on, Law, talk to him, man. Fix the offense.
Hey, maybe they can do that. I'm talking big boys, huh?
Go ahead, Koye. You right, Go ahead, Koye.
I think it's a combination, though, right? You got a point with the scheme not being the greatest, right? But at the same time, there was things that were happening, like Tony Pollard coming off of injury that played into it. Him being on a contract year, so them not signing him so that he has to be the bell cow to try to prove himself on a contract or a franchise tag. So he's getting carries that Rico probably should get because we want to see what we want to do with him, number one. And then the other end of it that nobody's really talking about, and is the fact that our best run blocking offensive lineman, in my opinion, has been Terrence Steele. But last year, he wasn't himself.
No.
Terrence Steele, if there's one thing he did well, was clear shit out on that right side. And Zach Martin wasn't himself either. So your whole right side was hampered. And when you did get your resurgence from Tyron and you got Tyler who came on, but your whole right side, which was your strength the year before as far as run game, was hampered. So I think that was the mainstay. I think if both those guys were healthy last year, we would have had a running game no matter who you put back there, because Terrence Steele is an animal when he's healthy. He clears shit out. I remember Zeke's last year when Zeke was, before he hurt his knee again,
right?
When we played the Eagles, he took Fletcher Cox and he took him like 15 yards across the field. See what I'm saying? When you're getting that, it don't matter what your run scheme is when you get that out of your right tackle. So we're not getting that right now. And I think that plays into the fact that, you're doing the best you can with what you got at this point. You know what I mean? And our scheme was weak because our players were hampered, I think.
I got to push back on that, man.
Go ahead.
The scheme was weak because the players were hampered?
Well, when you look at Terrence, if you say Terrence Steele is your best run blocking player.
What do scheme got to do with players?
I'm just saying you can line up a player who is talented and he's gonna clear shit out, then that works. When he can't do that anymore, then he make some players make coaches look better, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
He can't do that if he's not himself. That's what I mean. But if you're coming in thinking you're gonna get a Terrence Steele and you're not, but you have to put him on the field anyway, and he's not himself.
Who's the dogs for the Green Bay Packers and San Francisco 49ers and Miami Dolphins and Ravens and Detroit? Now Detroit got a crazy line. Detroit got a crazy
line.
But they don't all have all these crazy dogs in front because they have a scheme that can help hide maybe some of these deficiencies. Right. So like when we get to the playoffs, I'm gonna keep coming back to these playoffs, man, because we've had lines that been wrecking shit, all regular season, and we get to the playoffs and what? It's because scheme. It's because play calling. So I think they have to get that fixed. And if they don't, then you need Koye those dogs. Yes. If you have a healthy Terrence Steele, maybe it becomes a little bit better. But I've seen a healthy Terrence Steele against San Francisco 49ers in 2022. And what did they do? Nothing. Or I'm sorry, 2021. What did they do? Nothing. I've seen a healthy line in 2018, 19, 2021, 2022. And they've done nothing with it in the playoffs. So it's like, fix this scheme, man, because if you don't fix the scheme, it almost don't matter what rookie you bring up.
When you had Rico Dowdle on the field, did the scheme seem as crooked or as messed? I mean, he was running well, in my opinion.
Rico was okay. I mean, Rico was he was okay last year. But I was talking about this the other day. Even if you go look at some of the good runs, a lot of it looked like just a bowling ball going down a bowling alley hitting pins.
Oh yeah, Rico was balling out.
Not Rico. I'm talking about the blocking. Nothing ever looked clean. You know what I'm saying?
Koye, I think
Biotis can't get to the second level. You know what I'm saying? Terrence Steele, like you said, was banged up. Look, I love Tyron Smith, but Tyron in run blocking, it was not Tyron from 2014 run blocking.
Totally he was better than pass blocking this last season. Yeah. And to be fair, that like even the Miami Dolphins, they went and took a Connor Williams that was here.
Come on, Miami had bums.
They put that man at center. I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't know he can play center like that, but he played it.
Look who's coaching, Mike McDaniel.
That's what I'm saying. The scheme, bro.
So
you made a good point, Scott.
Rico had his moments, Tony had his moments, but just like think about it, they were really fighting for their life. Like they was fighting for their life to get them yards, man. Yeah. So like I don't know what the numbers are, yards before touched by a defender, whatever those numbers are. I'm sure we're way at the bottom of them, regardless of how.
Yep.
Cool. So like whether Rico did look good, whether Tony did look good, that's just them making the most out of their circumstance or whatever, right? If your offensive line scheme, if your run scheme, I would say, if it was going crazy and it was modern and it was giving you everything that it has, man, Tony probably would have ran for 13. Rico probably would have been a 800-yard rusher if we got more from the scheme.
The Lions game is a perfect example, and I got it playing right now. The run blocking you're seeing here, it wasn't this atrocious all season, but I think it was poor in 2023. Wow. The blocking was poor, and the scheme didn't help them. And you had to help your guys this year, man. Because look, Tyler Smith, Zach Martin, ain't no way in hell you should have been as poor as you were running the rock for most of the year.
San Francisco literally got Trent Richardson and like Trent Williams and just 4 regular dudes.
Walmart All-Stars, people that working at UPS.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? But if you look at the Shanahan guys, man, it don't really matter who's on the offensive line. Like Dolphins, they was dealing with a gang of offensive line injuries when they was running against us, but they was able to run the football. Lester Cotton was out there getting it done. He was getting it done. And the Buffalo Bills had 2 offensive linemen. Me personally, I can't stand Connor McGovern and goddamn Osiris Torrance, but they got the job done because
Buffalo's another one, man.
Yeah, Dawkins was good that game.
I think to put a bow on it, fellas. Scheme is bad, but I do want to get a guy.
You need dudes.
Yeah, like and that what does that look like? Like Ray Davis in the third is probably.
Oh, you're talking about running back. Okay.
He's 29 years old, man.
He is, but think about it though, Law. You need him for 4 years and you draft another one. Like you're not giving him another. You're not. You know what I mean? And so I don't listen. I kind of overestimated Deuce. I think it's gonna be tough sledding because I think he's just too little. Like when you see him out there, you like God. And then if the scheme not right,
there you go.
It's just rough,
I agree with Koye when he said like mismanagement of talent. Like Deuce, you can find a role. They just was
no. You can definitely find a role. And he's gonna get opportunities. I don't think that they.
I don't know now.
Well, he averaged 1.9 yards per rush when playing this season. Yeah, but
but look at the block. I mean, this dude wasn't getting. He was getting nothing.
And they weren't setting it up. They weren't setting him up for success. Like we keep saying this, but you look at his film in college and say, hey, these are the things he does well, and then do none of it and call him, garbage doesn't even make sense. We didn't use him in any way, shape, or form in the way he was used in college. No screen passes, no jet sweeps, no running routes, nothing. He didn't do anything that he did in college.
Dude said he had no BB to run behind. Give him BB.
Oh, that's right. He did run behind.
Yeah. So let me just ask. Let me ask everybody this: like, what's the level of urgency for running back? Like how much draft stock do you want to put into finding a guy? Right? You looking? Nobody's going in the first, and they're saying nobody's going to go in the second, but somebody can go in the second. But if
that cat in Texas, I'm telling you,
if you're going to get Jonathan Brooks, he's probably going to go second round. So, for everybody on the panel, do you go second round? You wait to the end of the third, or are you fine with waiting till like the day 3 set of guys to go out there and get running back? Fuster King?
I'll be quick. Jonathan Brooks is a first round talent if he's not hurt.
Sure.
And him and Benson, I think Benson is a first round talent, but I think the ceiling is even higher because Brooks is so young. Sure. I would definitely draft Brooks. I'm not worried about the injury. I would draft Jonathan Brooks because to me, the talent is real. And this is how I said, remember, Scott, I beat the table for Gibbs. Day one, Gibbs changed Detroit's. He changed their offense.
Yeah, they got to bet Johnson, though.
Well, when you say that, so why is Jonathan Brooks better than Jalen, the Tennessee kid?
Right.
Oh, for me, you want to know why? For me,
from your perspective, your perspective,
you got Tennessee's scheme sucks. They got these guys way in Africa, and they're just basically reading the box. So, they're just, and I definitely get the athletic profile, but I think that Jonathan Brooks' vision, his one thing that he's more powerful than people think.
Yeah.
If you go watch that Alabama game, Texas O-line was getting smoked, and he was still clawing, fighting. He will get what's blocked, but then if you watch the Kansas game, he could take it. Like, he will run away from you the same way that Jalen Wright will. I just think he's a better back.
He makes you miss in that hole really well. Like Jonathan Brooks, man, he's so bro. Like, I'll pull up some stuff here. He can make you miss at the hole, and then for me, a team that doesn't create a big lane, you're going to need that type of player. You're going to need a guy that's twitched up, that has that agility, and we talk about this a lot. Koye, Rico and Tony were similar runners. They're one-cut runners. There's, zone type guys, stick your foot in the ground, get downhill. You need somebody that's loosey-goosey around the ankles, right? And that's what Jonathan Brooks is, and he got home run ability. And I think he could be used out the backfield to catch a little bit more, too. I'm with you. If he wasn't hurt, I feel like he's an easy second-round pick for anybody. But for the Cowboys, he's going to be a second-round pick because he is hurt. That's what's going to happen.
He might go first.
I'm going to be real, Scott. He's the one that I think everybody in the league is high on this kid. Like, I think we live in Cowboy, Texas world.
Fair.
But, I do believe that, the consensus, people like Jonathan Brooks, dog. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets picked before we drafted 56.
A lot of people in the chat cheering for Jalen Wright, though.
Yeah, he's good too.
I like Wright.
I think when you lose a Tony Pollard and you look at Rico Dowdle still on this team, when you lose a Tony Pollard, you see the signing of Freeman, who's our power back now. You still have Hunter Lupke, who can still do some short yardage stuff. The missing piece is that Tony Pollard style back, and that's Jalen Wright. So I think Jalen Wright is not the better back, but the better fit here.
That's fair, Okoye. I won't argue there.
It's kind of like the argument between, it's not like it, but the Bijan Robinson versus Jahmyr Gibbs kind of situation, right? Like
the poor man's version is what you're saying.
The poor man version.
Here's the deal, Law.
Here's version of that conversation.
Here's the deal, Law. Here's the deal with those two. And I fought people on this me and Scott, remember our draft series? And people say there's no way you should draft a running back in the first round and blah, blah, blah. Bruh, both of them, because even Bijan, I think it was Bijan had a good year, bro.
Arthur Smith was just goofy. Arthur Smith was just goofy, and
Box, he different, bro.
But Robinson had a good year, but Arthur Smith could have had a better year had he had a better coordinator.
Yeah. So but my point is this, Sky. If you redraft him, would you still take them in the first round? Both of those players, Gibbs and Bijan,
respectively, for that team.
Yeah.
for those teams, I don't know. Maybe for Atlanta, they could have went maybe elsewhere. They need a lot of things though. But for Detroit, I think they nailed their first round.
Yeah, they killed it.
Yo, hold on. One time I will see you. Want to know why Detroit was able to take a running back at 12? Let me get my work call. You want to know why Detroit was able to take a running back at 12?
Why is that?
Because they secured their offensive line.
There's the offensive line.
Also,
he would draft 5. He would go 5 rounds deep with offensive line.
Also, they went into the draft, not having a whole bunch of holes in that manner, right? So they took care of all that and they were able to go pure BPA. Cowboys they can't look at you in the face and say pure BPA. They didn't do enough to do it.
Man, when you just take care of business, Frank Ragnow wasn't a sexy pick. Penei Sewell was up there, but boy, the fan base was like, man, can I get Jamar Chase? Can I get one?
They just had a cat that just got paid too, offensive guard.
For sure. That was a stacked draft, man. They was like, man, you know what? We're gonna go ahead and get Penei Sewell, dog. Man, they go and draft. They left guard. Decker's been there for years. They are stacked at their offensive line, and that core of offensive linemen is gonna be there for a long time. So you know what they ain't got to worry about in the upcoming years? Drafting no damn offensive line. They get to make cute picks. They get to take all this position value nonsense. The 3 positions that they talking about is tight end, linebacker, and running back. But they can do it. You want to know why they didn't get Laporta? You want to know why they didn't get Gibbs? You want to know why they didn't get Joe Campbell? Because they have taken care of business on their offensive line. Did you hear what I said?
Did you hear what I said?
Lies told.
That boy gonna campaign for that O-line. He's right though. The only thing that slowed Detroit down was the head coach. They could have been in the Super Bowl, believe it or not. So you're right. You're right. Yeah. But shout out to that though. Shouts out to
Ben Johnson too, man.
Dan Campbell.
He put that together because I don't think the quarterback is that great in my opinion. He's solid, but
it goes back to me to what Okoye said. It's a mix of both. I think there's a world where if you go interior lineman and Brooks, I'm not mad. I just wouldn't be mad at that. There's a world where if you go interior lineman and linebacker or interior lineman, let's say a DN. I mean, Sky said it. If you're going to play Micah off ball, maybe they say Micah is our linebacker that we would have drafted and we drafted DN. And people are like, why would they do that? Well, you're getting rid of DeMarcus Lawrence next year.
Robinson
you need somebody else. I would love Robinson. It's just there's no way I think he gets to 56.
The size is crazy.
Yeah, he's a good player, man. So I mean, this draft is going to be exciting because ultimately Foots wants to trade back because I think if I did my calculations right,
in the third person,
if we
said Foots wants to trade back,
because
the Cowboys want to trade back per sources.
Yeah, bro. Like, let me ask you this, Scott.
They do want to trade back.
They want to trade back.
Per source.
I'm just saying.
Scott, let me ask you this, Scott. Could I talk you into trading back to Kansas City?
Yes, I don't care what you ain't got to say nothing else. Yes.
Okay. I was gonna say this. What if I get you? What if I get you Zach Frazier?
Oh, come on,
and then you get your other needs DN, and then you could possibly get your linebacker, receiver, or running back with that extra third, which would act like your fourth.
I listen. You could almost talk me into trading out the first round to pick up a couple extra picks. Dead serious.
I take it.
Dead ass.
More picks is always good.
F that fifth round, fifth year option. I'm sorry, F that fifth year option. Who cares? They don't use that to their advantage. They use it as a weapon anyway. So F that fifth.
To circle back to the running back there, and you're right. F that fifth year thing. But to circle back to running back, are you guys shying away from those smaller split backs like a Blake? What about Blake Watson? Are y'all shying away from that? Because
I like Blake.
Memphis,
like he's a back.
Bucky Irving, all those smaller guys.
I'm not a fan of it this year, personally.
I don't think they're looking for like committee dude. I think if anything, they're looking for like a tandem guy. You know what I'm saying? So like maybe you and like somebody else, somebody to pair with Rico, not somebody that could be a part of a 3-person thing or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I do think Blake Watson is a good player, but I really think they want to get running back and not have to worry about running back for 4 years. That's what I think the Cowboys want to do.
Lord, the 2 names.
Go ahead.
Ray Davis.
Ray Davis good.
Audric Estime. And I'll give you one more, Marshawn Lloyd. If they're in that baby. 4th round, 5th round area, I would feel fine with those guys paired with Rico. Now I feel great going into a playoff game and having 2 guys because Lloyd, he was underused at USC. It was awful.
I got a hot take that I don't know if we ready for it just yet, but Freeman, you keep saying paired with Rico. I think Freeman is going to take Rico's.
Scott,
I gotta watch his film. I haven't watched his film.
Watch his. Hey,
I gotta watch his film.
Now
I gotta watch his film. Sky ain't playing.
So let me say this though. Let me say this though. Hold on, Law. Just as the 4 yards per carry, thumping you guy, goal line guy,
he ain't hurt.
Guy, not hurt guy.
Rico hurt guy.
Man, look. Keeping the buck down, Rico might not even make it through camp for real. Like, cause he gets hurt every year. Like last year, he got hurt last year. Whatever.
He got hurt last year.
I think people kind of sleeping on Royce or whatever. I don't want to say his name or whatever. People sleeping on Royce. I think Royce make the team. I think Deuce will get cut if anything. Go ahead. Deuce will get cut. Rookie, Royce, and Rico. Go ahead.
All I'm gonna say is I don't know what's gonna happen, but the dude played 164 special team snaps too. That was more than Rico, more than Malik Davis, more than all those dudes combined. So he also has that in his belt. He also brings something that we don't have in the room, which is that thumper, which is that power, 6 foot 230 plus. You don't have that. He's experienced. He has a low mileage. He ain't a hurt guy. I personally think he's more talented than Rico, right? That doesn't look. I'm not saying Rico might not make the team, but I'm saying you can't discount Royce. Look, Rico Dowdle. We're talking about a 5th-year player that finally got 100 carries. We ain't talking about some dude that's been out here killing it. I mean, this guy's always hurt. He was okay last year. It wasn't nothing spectacular. So I don't think Rico's just a shoo-in, man. So when you say Voch pairing with Rico, that's why I brought this up. I don't think it's a shoo-in to pair with Rico. They're going to take a guy, I agree with you, that they look at as a future guy for 4 years to pair with whoever.
Let me ask you this, guy. Is he a poor man's David Montgomery to you? Like what the Lions did? Remember how they covered their bases with Montgomery? Or you got Montgomery a little higher than him? I mean, I think Montgomery.
No, I see what you're saying. I think Montgomery's a better, more.
Remember how you watching Detroit games and Montgomery just coming and lean on you?
Oh yeah,
you could just see. Not even our defense.
They did the Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard thing last year.
Yeah, bro.
They did. And I think the Cowboys are trying to do that again. And look, they were legitimately interested in Dillon. I know they did not sign him, but when I saw that they had interest in Dillon, I said, hey man, they could be looking at a guy that can complement a power guy in the draft. Right. They like Brooks. They brought in Jalen Wright. They like Benson. You wouldn't qualify these guys as thumpers. And then what happened? Ezekiel Elliott pops up. That's not fake. You know, I mean, we might not want Zeke. A lot of people might not want Zeke on this team, but they power guy. And then what did they do? They went and signed Royce Freeman, power guy. So don't be shocked if they come out of this draft with one of these dudes like a Jalen Wright, Trey Benson, Brooks, or later in the draft, a Garendo. Later in the draft, they brought in I'm not a big on Monty Bailey.
Rasheen
Ali. So one of these kind of slasher types that can lead for you eventually, but you pair him and you complement him with a power guy.
What did Miami do last year? They had A-Chain.
They had like 4 of them boys there.
And Moser and Jeff Wilson. So they all run fast. They was all ran.
But Jeff Wilson was that dude that they kept in the tuck. That was that big boy, yeah. And Moser's not small either.
Yeah. And then I think that the Titans, what they're doing now is they're gonna do Tajay.
They're going slasher. But last year they went slasher, thumper,
Thumper, yeah. So
I'm gonna say this. It's gonna be interesting to see if these backs that got a lot of the acclaim, because I'm like what Sky saying, talk me into a guy that we got on the cheap that we not married to. It's gonna be interesting to see how good Saquon and Derrick Henry still really are. And I'm not throwing knocks, but and somebody made this point. If Dallas spent as much money as the Eagles did on Saquon, we would be looked at as dumb. That's what there's no way around it. And I don't know if Saquon is still the Saquon that people think they're getting. And I'm just being honest. So that might be a hot take, but I'm just being honest. Like, bro,
even if he is, like, we bust his ass every time we play.
He's never did.
Yeah, he gets nothing. Granted, it's better offensive line, but you're right.
But I just say,
no Diddy,
definitely no Diddy.
I want to get your take though, Foots and Voch on Braylon Allen. Y'all didn't mention him. Y'all didn't bring him up. What's going on, man? What's talking?
Braylon Allen.
Braylon Allen's He's a good player, but just in the context of what we were saying, he would be sort of like a redundancy because he'll be a thumper guy. So you would want somebody to complement Royce and Rico. But in real life, if we just keep it a buck, like Royce and Rico ain't promised nothing. I'm gonna pull some film up and Foots can give you a breakdown on Braylon Allen, running back from Wisconsin. Go ahead, Foots.
So the problem, Law, with Braylon is he didn't do anything in the draft cycle. Like he did nothing. Like he didn't run, no agility, and all these running backs went to the combine and competed. You know what I mean, Law? So it's like, what are you trying to hide? Now he did say that he was dealing with an injury, so I get that. I think Law. I think Vaj has him spot on. If you actually go back to the Ohio State game in 2022, that was probably his best film to me. This year, again, you talk about Wisconsin's OC, they got him in shotgun. Look at this. Like, that's not how I'm using Braylon Allen. That's not how he wins. You want him getting downhill. You want him getting in the lane.
And put a fullback in front of him.
Hey, Okoye, that's what bro.
Make 245.
He came in at 230 something in combine, but it's a big. This is a legit.
He ran over his own guy.
He still got a baby weight body, dog. Like he's only 20 years old, so he's got grown man body to fill out. Yeah.
Damn. He was actually the youngest player in Wisconsin.
Damn. I like that. I like that.
And he's a 30 visit guy. So this is what I like about what they did at running back. They brought in a couple. They brought in a couple of the thumpers in McClellan and Braylon Allen, and they brought a couple kind of lead slasher types in the right world. But if they decide that Allen is good value in day 3, he's going to be your lead thumper guy of the future. And then you switch it and say, okay, now we go get a guy to complement him. So I like how they cover their bases from a 30 visit standpoint. They ain't just settle on all the flashy guys.
Law, on my stack, I have him at running back 6, and I have Ray Davis at running back 7. So they're touching. Tags are touching. Like Scott said, he's so young.
He's 7 years younger than Ray Davis.
Yeah, exactly. And like
Law don't like them all.
Hey, you know what? Hey,
Ray Davis a lot.
You're not wrong.
I like Ray Davis.
Hey, Vosh, that's what I'm saying, bro.
This I'm
gonna say this before you go, because I know Lawman he been shooting a lot at Ray.
My bad.
It's facts.
He keep getting older too. Long he's like, Ray Davis 27, Ray Davis 31.
Ray Davis Sky.
Now he's Sky age.
Him and Scott went to school together.
When you go watch
same damn size shit.
Just
pull up Ray Davis real quick.
I got you.
I love the way he
put up y'all school. Put up y'all school pictures.
School pictures.
What is it? 1989.
Go ahead. Break him down. I go ahead and break him down.
No cornbread, Ray. Go ahead and break him down.
Go ahead, no Foots. Tell us about Ray Davis while I run this film.
The way he finishes is if you try to tackle Ray Davis, you gotta bring it, bro. Like, he's one of those guys that finishes. He never falls backwards. He's a better creator than people give him credit for too at this size. I mean, it's a big back. Like,
I would too if you put me back in middle school. I'm messing with y'all.
Right.
He a big back, bro.
Yeah.
I could stand
but to his point though, right? To his point, Ray Davis though, for his size, in which he does have good size, but he has good feet. He is the complete back. Good feet, good movement, good quick. Nothing elite though. Nothing elite. Runs with power, good blocker, and he can actually receive the football and run routes.
So Emmitt Smith.
I'm not on a Hall of Fame level.
Not great at nothing, but good at everything.
Not on a Hall of Fame level, but he is the balanced running back. And I understand.
Oh my God, that was stupid right there.
You gotta rewind that one for your mom.
Hey, but look,
he nasty.
Guy's point about our blocking scheme. Those are the windows you need to run against. Look at this. Get skinny bomb. Man, that's kind of scary, Law.
He got active feet. I like his feet, man.
He ate them yums. The bag jumped on his back.
No did it.
Yeah, Trey Benson.
Man, come on, man. Fighting at the top of the route. Boom, over the shoulder, man. Come on, that's running back.
Keep breaking him down, Vach. I want to see if how y'all feel about this next prospect. I'm gonna take this out and pull one in. But y'all keep
like
talking.
this one. Good read.
Okay, so what I like about Ray Davis though, man, he has, like a lot of carries and all this kind of stuff, and he's older, but you only gonna use him for three or so, 3-4 years anyway, and he's going to be in tandem with another running back. He was the lead back here in Kentucky. So in my mind, you wouldn't be asking Braylon Allen to be your bell cow like he is now. He'll be a tandem back. Plus the value that you'll get for Ray Davis. Man, you get Ray Davis in the what? Fourth? Well, you ain't got a fourth, but like I think he's a fifth. He's a
if he was there in the fifth round, you definitely take that kid, man. You take him.
Can I sell you into Rasheen Ali?
Break down Ali first. Pass catcher, patience, got a little bit of burst within 10 or so yards. Hard to bring down if you don't catch him at the right time. Ali nice too. Ali nice too.
Float like a butterfly.
Also running back.
How big is he?
And this is the good. This is great. I don't know why.
210,
to me.
Oh, he cut on a dime though.
Yeah, he cut.
Bro, he remind me of a healthy Tony Pollard, man.
He runs
a one-cut
right.
runner, and he can catch the ball at the backfield, man. He has amazing vision to me.
I don't like that getting caught from behind shit.
There ain't too many home run hitters in that sense. You want a home run hitter like that, Garendo. If you want size, speed, home run hitter, you want Garendo.
That's why you get Jonathan Brooks, because Jonathan Brooks gonna run away from you.
Yeah,
he looking like a Matt Forte a little bit.
Ali is 5'11",
actually.
5'11", 206. That's Ali's number. So that'll work for me.
Marquise Bell size.
That'll work for me. So it's a running back. But look though, that's what I was asking though, right? Are we gonna jump off the porch and get a running back early, or are we going to hang tight and just trust one of the later round? I like the running backs in this class. Will Steele Will Steele was early saying this. Some of the media pundits. They'll and maybe not even Cowboy guys, right? But they'll say this running back class is not good because Bijan and Gibbs not in it. I can actually make the argument. Okay, yeah, you ain't got those two guys,
top heavy.
But the depth of this class is better than the classes last year. Once you get past Bijan and Gibbs and A-Chain or whatever, right? All right, cool. Pick and choose you got here, but this group of day 2 and day 3 guys, I like them more than last year's day 2 and day 3 guys.
To answer your question, Voch, that you start this whole thing with, for me, it starts in the third round. I start considering running back in the third round, and then I look at my stack, right? Does this running back far outweigh the value of if I need a linebacker at that point, if I still need an offensive lineman, if I still need a defensive tackle, if it's astronomical, right? Like, hey, he's 46 on my board and I'm sitting at 87, but the next lineman or the next linebacker is 82, 75 or whatever. How do you go away from that? You could argue take the best guy there, or you could say, like you said, and like I believe, man, the sweet spot is 3 to about 5. Right, like early 5 is a real sweet spot to get somebody, and guess what? You ain't got a 4. So if you don't take the back in round 5, are you going to try to get a Jason McClellan in 6 or 7 and be fine with it? I don't know. They did bring him in for a 30 visit though.
To your point there? No, I was going to say to Sky's point is that we have a late 5th round draft, Voch?
Was it 174?
Give me 20.
Yes. That's because if that run starts at the late 3rd and everybody started taking the runs at these running backs, and we fool around and waited and didn't take a running back in the 3rd, we could be missing out and don't have to pick until late 5th.
So the third round pick is 87, but the 5th round pick is 174. So that's a long wait. And after that is 233 and 244. So that's a lot of discrepancies in there. I think if you want to get a quality back, and it's either going to be 87 or pick 174. I think by the time you get to pick 216, you're hoping. You hoping that a running back falls there, but I don't think you. Now you're in, okay, we might as well wait to undrafted free agency territory. Right. Now, it's either going to be 87 or it's going to be 174, assuming we don't trade back with somebody to get some more picks.
Yeah, I think that's spot on.
Agreed.
I can say this. This is going to be the funnest, the most pressure-packed draft in a while. Because
we don't know.
You got to get 3. You got to get 3. You got to get 2 starters, 3 contributors out of this draft.
You need
always, but
those starters, and you better,
That's always Sky, but it's more elevated this year because.
But you need a 2022 draft, fam. Like you need guys, not just starters, but a Deron Bland type year out of your 5th round pick. Yeah, you need Tyler Smith to turn into one.
That's why I want to trade back.
Yeah,
because give me shots at the hoop, like, bro. I want to get my shooting percentage up. A tackle, it's tricky because those guys have a high bust rate. You look at
you're doing it again. Not in Dallas. Not in Dallas.
Not the first
I
round.
don't want to open that. I don't want to open that up. You're right, Vosh. I'm sorry. I don't want to mess
Hey
with
man. Anyway, chat for everybody watching right now. Round take.
Flames.
Now I can go to sleep.
Right. Go ahead, Foot.
If I'd have saw Foots put those glasses on, I know what time it is.
Oh, I know what time it is. Let's get up out of here. Man,
Foot's got the shades.
Fellas, this is always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. I was talking to Miss Nay, man. We were just out having sushi at some restaurant that cost way too much. And she was like, man, I wish I had some type of thing on YouTube where 5 of the top people do it and they come together and just talk about one topic and just let the people come and just watch and bring audiences together. And there's some people that watch Okoye that don't watch me. There's people that watch me that may not have heard of Will Steele. Foots the King does his content here and there. Maybe people from Law Nation show never heard of him or whatever, right? Everybody's heard Law Nation. But the
100K Law Nation.
Everybody's heard Law Nation. But the great thing about what we do here is, man, we come together and we put on a show every single time. But not only us putting on the show, y'all show up for us, man. Did y'all hear what I said? Did you hear what I said? Y'all show up and show out for
800 people, bro.
Y'all show up for and look, if it's not live, we're gonna see it on the watchbacks too. The numbers gonna keep growing and growing and growing, and y'all gonna be in the comments like, hey, show was great. And that's what we do it for. We love to go back and watch the comments. We love to go back to watch the live comments and just seeing y'all enjoy it. When Foots make his point, y'all put flames in there, me going crazy or like a good argument between, Okoye and Will Steele. That's what we're doing it for. We don't do it all the time because we did it, y'all wouldn't watch it. But when we do it, y'all come through. Okay, so we love y'all to pieces. On top of that, like I said, like I always say, we're friends in real life. We are friends in real life. I talked to Foots the King. Me and him was talking about Prince at the time early. We wasn't even talking about football. I always say, I call Law Nation one day, say, man, and I'm about 29 at the time, 30. I'm like, Law, calling him as a big brother. Hey, man, I'm trying to get into fragrances, man. I'm trying to get into cologne, man. What do I need to buy? What I need to get into? And Law gave me a dissertation of what fragrances I need to get into.
Go ahead, Law, show him.
The Georgia Armani.
That's an Aqua de Gio.
Yeah. Aqua,
Yeah,
my father taught me about that a while ago, Law.
Yeah.
I personally tap in with Okoye and we have conversations about being dangerous, and I'm trying to work on my Muay Thai on my hands and my feet, and Okoye gave me the most ridiculous drill that just I tightened my shoulders, tightened up my, Okoye getting me right from miles away. He's in Philly. I got a fight coming up. Okoye, I need a drill. Okoye gave me the best drill, and it helped me out, man. And besides that, we talk about weaponry, and he teaching me about Egypt, and me and him breaking down politics that we can't say publicly. Okoye is a friend of mine. We'll still know what time it is. Look, I was making a joke. Will Steele went on the timeline. Hey, man, got a new baby in town. Didn't drop a picture of them, but boy, Will Steele tapped me days ago. He tapped me, yo, Vosh. Yo, Vosh, this your nephew. This your god boy. And I'm just like, dog, we friends for real. Me and Will still always breaking down how we can be better for the community and not just settling on what we doing, how we can grow and be great through this thing. The same type of ambitions I have for working and being great and putting into this content thing, me and Will still match that kind of energy, bro. So, man, look, when I say that these are my guys, these are my friends, it ain't nothing personal to nobody else in Cowboy Nation. It ain't nothing personal because there's some great content creators. Hey, it's your preference. It's a flavor of ice cream. You can watch wherever you want to watch. But this roundtable thing, this group of characters was not a work decision. This group of characters, it was not some, hey, we're gonna mooch off each other's views. And I love these people. I love these people that's on this play. Will Steele, what I say to you every day when we hang up the phone, dog.
Love you, man.
Love you back, brother. I mean it. Okoye, hey, yo, bro. Hey, man. Love you, bro. Hey, Foots the King, great. Love you, bro. Yo, Law, thank you for holding me to give. Love you. Law was, man, he was dealing with something with some other little. Yo, I'm a ride for Law. Love you, Law. You know what I'm saying? I love these guys, man. So Hey man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in just to come and tap in and just watch people that love each other just come talk Cowboys, because that's what we all got in common. We all got Cowboys. There's an Eagles fan here that's gonna swear he an Eagles fan. You love Cowboys too, player. I wouldn't dare watch 5 Eagles fans come up here and talk about nothing. You a Cowboys fan. That's what we all got in common, man. And we love y'all back. We love the audience back. And if you're not following Foots, if you're not following Law, if you're not following Okoye, if you're not, well, of course you're following Law, but if you're not following Skywalker still on A to Z Dallas on YouTube, man, y'all need to stop what you're doing. Run over to that platform and you need to follow those gentlemen, because everything that you got here, we didn't just come up with this shit off the top of our head. We took our respective shows. Foots took what he does. Okoye takes what he does. Law Nation does what he does. Skywalker still with the production. Every player that we brought up today,
he was on it.
Like
ain't no way. Look, I was up here sitting back hating. I was up here, ain't no way in the hell he got Damone Clarkfield. And he brought Damone Clarkfield. Everything that we do individually, we bring it together to make this fantastic show, which is the Round Table, and we do it for y'all. We love y'all to peace. Can we please get flames in the chat for these gentlemen?
Cook.
Yeah.
Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook.
Gosh, I'm sorry for waiting to use this button because y'all was cooking today, but goddamn.
Yeah, hey man. It hold on. I need my wipe my sweat button. Where I still got my
your mama showed you like I know you, man.
Okay. Hey man.
Fosh be sweating for real, dog. You a preacher, man. Love you, dog.
He a preacher, but you don't get tired of the message. I'm telling you.
There you go.
Hey, we love y'all to pieces.
Yeah.
Don't ask when the next round table gonna be. It's probably gonna be in August or something. It'll be in 8 more months, 9 more months. We'll see y'all down the line.
It might be live and in person. I'm just saying.
Yo, why I eat me a steak about the size of your back, yo.
Let's say this, guy. Let's say this. Let's say this. If somebody in this chat was smart, they would put some money behind.
Come on.
Come on. You could be a smart person because it's some big names that ain't doing numbers like this. I'm just saying.
And you know, just to let y'all know that we listening to feedback. You know, the round tables usually be like what, an hour and 2 minutes or what? Man, we going on 3 hours. We were just kicking it. We were just up here kicking it. We just gave y'all a long podcast because we know y'all asked for it, and really, we was having so much fun. We ain't know what time it was. Right?
And I'm still awake.
And for some weight, not for long. But we'll still, please, sir. If not, I'm gonna be here preaching to these people the whole time. Can we please get our round table music so we can get the hell about it?
Oh, salute to all the super chats, man. Appreciate y'all.
I'm gonna read them. I'm gonna read them Monday. I'm gonna read them Monday. Y'all hold it down. Those supposed to piece of whiskey. Till next time.
It ain't no thing to do my thing. It's what I do the best. I feel my mattress, pay my taxes, then I blew the rest. And it's okay to do your thing, but just don't do the least. I quit my boss and cook that sauce and fed that to the streets. Sliding it like a wet flow, already fried from the get-go. Alligators look like gecko. Everything I do, they echo. Big facts, my bank on big man.
Every time, bro.
This
go hard every time.
Like Q-tips. Hold that